it, like, and plenty of vendetta. And I like it. Who's that? Oh, is that coming? Don't have to have a funnier on you, Bob. But we'll hear it when he speaks in the microphone. Of course. Well, it depends if he picks the microphone up. I will. Oh, there he is. Oh, right. He's there. He's there. Let's do it. Otherwise, then everybody's going to get heard. Shall we? Yep. Shall we?
And welcome to NEFL Round 12. This is the Brisbane Lions versus the GWS Giants, live at the Gabba, streaming live on NEFL TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV, and of course the NEFL proudly supported by Elastoplast. Michael Price and Mark Kennedy calling all of your action. And Kanga, this should be a cracker of a game. Lions have got a few more listed players than the Giants, but a couple of really interesting points for the Lions, some big ins as well.
Yeah, there certainly is, and a couple of those big ins is Sam Skinner coming back from his third knee reconstruction, so wonderful to see him back. Of course, heartbreak. It's been a heartbreaking journey for him, just the one or two senior games so far. And the other young fellow I'm looking forward to seeing is Toby Wooler. He had a finger injury after his drafting to the Brisbane Lions, so it's his first game in Brisbane Lions colours today, amongst other things. And the fellow I'm really looking forward to seeing today from the Giants is Aiden Bonner. I reckon he's a budding star.
You could see him next to umpire Brett Ritchie, number 10. Aiden Bonner, number 10, sitting right in the middle of the ground at the moment. We'll be joined in special comments by the Encyclopedia of Queensland Football, Mr. Bob Batty. Bob, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. And Kanga, great to be here. Looking forward to this one. It should be a cracker of a game. Could go either way, Michael.
I reckon it's a toss of the coin. I'll go the home side. What do you reckon, Kanga?
Just the home side for me, but I think this is going to be a terrific game as we get underway. The umpire will bring it back, so the excitement of that first bounce is unfortunately undone.
Just watching umpire Brett Ritchie warm up before the match, he was bouncing them beautifully as well.
So no clear hit out to get us underway. Here's one of the players we spoke about, and Daniels gets it to half forward. Cox back in the side today with the spoil. It's in the Giants' forward line. Shipley lays a tackle and he wins the ball. He's taken the ground though. Keys gets in and under. He's wrapped up by Keefe. And we'll have a ball up right at centre half forward, right on that 50-metre arc.
An aggressive approach from all players so far.
Archie Smith with the hit out. Off the ground go the Giants, not with any great effect. Lions handball just didn't hit the target. Forced to tackle is Bastanak. And we'll go again. So it's in tight and tough early doors.
Umpire throws it up. Archie Smith versus Flynn. Give that one to Archie Smith. It's a no clear win for anybody. Flynn goes back in. Just a mess of bodies everywhere. Bonner just injects the ball. Coming through Liam Dawson. Bonner tackles him. He still gets rid of the ball. Clay beams, then to Bastanak. Now it comes out to Corey Lyons. A little chipping pass. Didn't quite hit the target. It was Wooler getting his first touch in Brisbane Lions colours, the former captain of the Oakley Chargers in the TAC Cup Under-18 competition. You would have seen a fair bit of him, Bob.
Yeah, certainly have. Was captain. Him and Jack Higgins were the two stars for the Chargers last year. And an item of note here, his grandfather, Fred, was the captain of the Cats' 1963 premiership team.
Well, there you go. The Encyclopedia, Bob Batty here on NEFL TV as the Lions move it through the corridor. Beautiful chain of handballs, ends up with Liam Dawson, but then he absolutely butchers the kick. Moore takes it for GWS, puts it down the corridor. Adam Kennedy, good to see him back playing some footy as well. More handball, good work to Dylan Buckley. Can he control it? He does. The ex-blue kicks it inside 50. Again, ill-directed. Mark should have been taken by Jacob Allison, but they will get out here through Cedric Cox.
And Cedric Cox comes out. Dangerous kick, 1-on-1, and it's won by the Giants in Perryman. He goes on quickly. Kick back inside forward 50, but standing tall there is Paparone. So a bit of a let-off there, although the kick isn't good from Paparone, will roll out of bounds. So a little bit of a comedy of errors. Of course, Dawson went forward and turned the ball over really cheaply. And then we saw a little bit of kick-to-kick there as well, and the ball out of play.
Yeah, good player, Perryman, isn't he? He's very clean, good overhead, just knows how to win the footy. He'll get a lot of the footy today.
From the tiny town of Collingully, Harry Perryman. Throw in. Archie Smith, that is, taps it down. Just towed off the deck towards the boundary line. Jack Frost gets there first. He's very content to see it over, but doesn't quite pull that off. Paparone does. He's getting hassled by Bonner, and there'll be a throw in. Right forward pocket. No scorers yet. We've played 3 minutes of the first term here at the Gabba on Neefle TV. Round 12. It's the Lions versus the Giants. Another throw in. Archie Smith double hands it down. Dylan Buckley, he gets through. Then just lets loose the ball. Umpire Brett Ritchie spreads the arms out, sea eagle wise, and says illegal disposal. Brisbane have it now. Jake Barrett just coming out of 50. Little chipping pass. Nice work to Wooler. A couple of touches early.
Gee, looks like he's moves pretty well, does Toby Wooler. First real chance to have a look. He just chips the ball up, finds Ben Keys. Not afraid to go further afield to find a kick. Wooler, who's sort of playing that centre-half forward role. Keys went short, found a target. It's back to that man we spoke about in Wooler.
Obviously keen to get involved early, Bob. He hasn't played much footy or at all for the Brisbane Lions.
Yeah, no, and just attacks the footy, doesn't he? Really leads up at the contest.
So Buntine, the ball went over the back of the pack, and Buntine had his kick smothered. How to play it goes.
Of course, Buntine was the 2015 Clio Bachelor of the Year, so some big boots to fill there. Pricey, eh?
Oh, turn it up. Oh, dear. One of the few. The footballers that get into the Clio magazine. That's good stuff, isn't it? Archie Smith taps it straight down to Bonner. He gets the ball away to Adam Kennedy. It's a high bomb. Back of the pack, Dawson. He can't control it. Handball comes out to Cedric Cox. Now Bastanak wheeling around into the corridor. Dangerous handball. Puts Corey Lyons under pressure. He still gets the ball away, but the Giants have it now. Can they control it? They do. Buckley gives it back to Kennedy. He chips it inside 50. Barely the 15, but Lockie Keefe takes the mark. Former Collingwood player. He played 40-odd games for Collingwood. 204 centimetres, 102 kegs. Not a small boy. Has he got this distance?
Yeah, he's a thumping kick. No problems with the distance, accuracy, a question mark. Of course, a Queenslander. I think he was from Gympie area. So, Kanga, you'd know a bit about him.
Yeah, absolutely. Played for the Suncoast Power in the under-18 development competition.
Let's go from 50. You called it right, Bob Batty. Thumping kick of the ball. That was no exception. Straight through the big sticks. Opening score of the game. The Giants get the first goal. 1 straight 6 to the Lions yet to score. 5.5 minutes gone, first term on Neefle TV.
Well, delivering the news was Lockie Keefe. His father had the news agency. His family had the news agency in the middle of the street of Gympie up there, but been a bit of a journeyman. I think Lockie Keefe, of course, he's had a little bit of an indiscretion there while at Collingwood, but really sort of presented himself always. He's a bit of a sponge in terms of a thirst for knowledge and always willing to learn. A fine young man and a fine young kick to go with it.
Went to Marist here in Brisbane as well.
So Flynn got the ball down with the tackle. There was Starcevic, Brandon Starcevic, and we'll have another ball up.
He's got a good matchup, hasn't he, Keefe? He's on Allison. 2 big, tall wingers out here on the wing.
Plenty of bodies around the contest. Bonner's under there. He's tackled. The umpire says he'll go again. Some interesting matchups there. Is that the right one, though, Bob? Is probably the question. See Frost playing deep down back for Brisbane. And on hands and knees there is Kennedy and also Beams. Or, in fact, it's Bastanak. We'll have another ball up. Ball hasn't gone far.
Bit of experience in there for Brisbane coming back in with Clay Beams. And you've got Bastanak in there as well as Bonner gets rid of the ball for GWS. Gets it out to Daniels. He shoots a handball out. Kennedy stubs it forward. Bounces in front of Delahunty. Gets knocked over by...
We didn't have it.
Well, he didn't have it at all. It was actually Pollock. Reece Pollock. So Reece Pollock... He'll have to shoot this from a little bit further out than Keefe just got rid of the last kick. Probably about 52 metres. Man on the mark's just going to crib back and run at him a bit. So Reece Pollock, originally from Canberra, that's a sky ball. It's going to end up in the right forward pocket. Big fly at the back. Punch forward. Mitchell Hinge can't get it. It was well done by Daniels, who tried one out of mid-air. Paparone now clears it. Big fly. That could have been a free kick as well. Umpire says it was. Some high contact. And the free kick will go to Harry Perryman. He just set under the ball there, just a bit of late high contact from the Brisbane defence.
Yeah, he's tougher than a drover's dog, isn't he, Harry Perryman? He'll be there underneath the packs and taking strong marks, backing back like that. Got a ton of courage, this kid. He'll be a good AFL player.
So once again, you're going to have to shoot from around about 50 metres. Let's go from just over the arc. It's a high ball. Has the distance too. Well played. Harry Perryman gets his first, and GWS, the Giants, get their second. 2 straight 12. The Lions yet to score. 8 and a bit gone of the first term on Neefle TV.
Well, they've started well, haven't they? They don't have as many listed players, but they've showed the absolute grunt in and under to try and match the Lions. And, of course, some long balls to put them on the scoreboard. So they've been impressive so far, the Giants, haven't they?
Well, some movement from some names like Adam Kennedy coming back in. He's got a couple of touches. I like the look of Bonner already. He puts his body in there. And Dylan Buckley, the ex-Carlton player, now running around with the Giants. He's had a couple of touches as well.
Well, the Lions really have struggled at NEFL level the last few games that they've played. They had the bye last week, of course, where the Giants started very slowly and actually built into the season. So the ball up in the middle. That was Tompkinson in the ruck. Boy from the Sunshine Coast as well. Ball forward now for Brisbane. Inside forward 50. There was a bit of high contact there from Sloan, and winning the free kick will be the Giants. That's Perryman just doing it to both ends. Now to Buntine. Goes out wide. Finds Stein. Half back to half forward it is. Front spot are the Lions players. And the first one there was Mitch Hinch, who's run to a little bit of a vein of form. Traverses the Gabba. And that's a poor effort there from Paparone under no real pressure. And the Giants will bring it away. That was Scott with the kick. It wasn't a good one either. The ball close to the boundary line, the outer side. At half forward and that outer side for the Giants, and the ball be thrown in.
Yeah, look, their pressure around the contest has been good, and the Lions kicking hasn't been centimetre perfect, as Dennis Cometti would have said. They've missed the target on a number of occasions already.
So the ruck contest, the ball goes over the back of both of them. Bastanak gets the ball out. And it's fisted forward. Well done by Kennedy. Gets it inside forward 50 for the Giants. Big scrap ensues. They're going to get the ball out here. Kennedy again. Sproul. Hooks it around the body. Oh, very close indeed. Just bounced to the left and one behind. So the first indiscretion on the scoreboard. 2-1-13 to the Giants. The Lions yet to score. They bring it in quickly. Cedric Cox has got it.
Well, they wouldn't be happy the way they've just used the ball so far, Brisbane. Keys now with the football. Not a noted efficiency-wise with foot, but finds Barrett under no pressure. So you'd expect a player of that ilk to get there. Beams, and was forced to work for it. And now the stalemate comes. So again, just that use of the ball, Bob. That's letting Brisbane down just at the moment, and the Giants are making them pay so far. Yeah, no, you've got to hit those 10 to 15 metre kicks. If you can't hit them, you shouldn't be out there running around. But no, some poor kicking there from both senior line players. Scrubbed away was Allison with the ball. Keys got the handball, and then under pressure, Archie Smith just bangs it forward up towards Tompkinson. Stein with the spoil. Bastanak doesn't find his target by hand, but getting there is Clay Beams. Decides to go up the line, and just a little chipping ball. Nothing really in particular that gave any player from Brisbane a chance, and the Giants can come away with it again. And now with the ball here is Scott. So repelling all challenges so far. Yeah, just Giants. Trying to be too clever, aren't they? Like Bastanak's 3 handballs and missed the target. You just got to be better than that with 160 games experience. Good effort there from Jacob Allison after the errant kick from Scott. Copped a little bit of one from Banuelos. He goes in board. Dangerous kick, finds Tuera Marango. Sunny Coast product. Back to Allison. Dangerous, but they're taking the game on in the corridor. Scooped up there. Well played by Starcevic. The handball and the kick inside 50. Good set of hands up forward. Tompkinson. I think it is. It is Jack Tompkinson. The big Jack from Sunny Coast. Wearing the headband as well, keeping the thin headband, keeping the hair out of the eyes, and that was very important when you've got the hands in front of the eyes as well. Good hands, Bob. Yeah, it certainly was. Look, he's been playing well for the Allies. He's had a role as a second ruckman there with the Allies and has been contributing very well. Last week against Vic Metro was good.
He's a big boy, 198 centimetres, leans back on the kick, skies it a bit. Goal umpire does very little work. They celebrate inside their forward 50. Jack Tompkinson gets his first goal and the Lions' first goal. 2-1-13 to the Giants, one straight to the Lions, and 13 minutes gone to the first term.
Can get one of your old mates, Andrew Cadzo, be happy with that one. He's a Maroochydore product, and he's been playing some good footy with Maroochydore seniors this year when given a chance. But that was a great effort there and a nice finish. His kicking hasn't been the best, but that was fantastic, that one.
Well, what I've noticed is, talking about my old stomping ground, I still live up there at the moment, is Tawara Marango, and then you've got Jack Tompkinson, two really rangy types up there. And, of course, the Lions have just signed Tommy Fullerton as a Category B rookie. And, again, he's near that 200 centimetres as well, so not sure what's in the dirt up there.
Yeah, and I suppose Hipwood you'd probably claim almost too.
Absolutely, I would claim him. Not a shadow of a doubt. Stein gets the fist away. It was at half forward. It was Barrett with the ball now. Little chip up. Moore with the good spoil. Coming through there is Marango. And now Barrett just finds Beams. Beams just on forward 50, just chips it into a better position. And we know this man can roost it. That's Jacob Allison. In fact, there was, I think it might have been Ben Sloan involved there. I do apologise. Yeah,
Allison, I think that gave him a lot of confidence when he pushed back and took that strong mark under pressure out here on the wing. And he is a confidence player. You would back him from this distance. You'll get the distance easily, goalpost high. Let's see if he can get the accuracy and level up the board.
4 weeks ago, we saw him roost 2 monster goals. This one doesn't have to be a monster. He kicks it from 48. All it needs to be is on target, and that's exactly what it is. So the scores, at least from a goal perspective, are level. The Lions have got 2, and the Giants still lead 2-1. So 1 point the difference, and we have played 15 minutes of this first quarter.
Yeah, that's a special effort from Jacob Allison there. He is a confidence player. You saw him go in really hard early and just had a little bit of a fumble in one area, and then he comes back and takes that mark and then lines back and kicks the goal.
Well, one of the things he does have and possess is endurance. He covers the ground very well, and to push up and get involved in the play when he's playing at half back was really good play, Bob.
Yeah, and as Michael said, confidence will be boosted with that one.
So we're back in the middle. It's Keefe versus Smith. I'll give that one to Smith, but Keefe goes back in, wins the ball, shoots a handball out. It's picked up by Jake Barrett for Brisbane. That's a scrubbing, awful kick, but it's going to advantage the Brisbane player in Stackelberg, who tripped over his own shoelaces. It's on the 50. GWS player was just dragged off the ball. Umpire Sam Ward called that very quickly. And that will be Anthony Scott, who'll take the free kick inside defensive 50. Not a lot of movement for him. He's going to come down the commentary side. No, he actually shapes and kicks a dangerous ball up the corridor. Well read by Cedric Cox, who tumbles onto the logo. A lot of play in front of him. And not a lot of supreme movement. He sees Barrett moving, kicks it to him. That's a good strong set of hands as well under extreme pressure. So he's still 60 out. Wheels around onto the left. Kicks it to a dangerous spot. Pack of players. Juggling effort. Back of the pack. Clay Beams. Out of bounds on the full.
Well, that was poor checking there on the mark by GWS. They know Jake Barrett really well. He was on their list there, and they let him just wheel around his left and really put it deep.
Yeah, agree with that completely. He obviously a one-game player with the GWS and about 16 or 17 with the Lions.
So Bud kicked it in and kicked it straight to Hinge. He swings around. Get the pun?
As he does.
As he does. He hits it to Barrett. On that familiar left, just chips it up, looking for a target, and then coming out there was Clay Beams, but the push was in the contest, and Shipley will win the free kick. So defensively, that's a bit of a let-off for the Giants. Nick Shipley goes long up the outer side, looking for the big boy in Flynn, but outmarked there by Archie Smith. So the Lions can bring it back in.
Archie Smith, that's a towering ball inside 50. Again, Giants with the numbers in defence. Ball still to be won at ground level, picked up there by Clark. Long hoik down the outer side. Lions with the numbers here. Jack Frost, advantaged by the bounce, gets tackled, gets the handball away to Smith. Again, they're going to end up in the middle of the ground, but they'll turn it over here. That's beautifully read there by Scott. He has a bounce, gets onto it with his left foot. It bounces inside 50. Here's Daniels. He runs onto it and bangs it through into the netting. Brent Daniels, taken at number 27 in the 2017 draft, runs through for the Giants and belts through their third. 3-1-19 to the Giants. The Lions have 2 straight with 18 minutes gone to the first term. Bob Batty.
Yeah, no, he's a beauty, isn't he? Picked 27 in the 2017 draft. The boy from Bendigo Pioneers via Nia West, would you believe? Nia West. So, yeah, no, you got a lot of talent. Very quick. Terrible kick there from Paparone, a player that's had a heap of experience, drafted 2012. You've got to be able to kick the ball better than that, Marco.
It's going to be a very, very... it's going to be an interesting situation to see where Marco Paparone's career goes following season 2018.
Yes, it will. We're back away in the middle. And plenty of players there. Wrapped up there is Ben Keys by Cumming. So Flynn and Smith go at it again. Just reaching over the top there was the ladder in Smith. But Flynn at ground level picks it up. Has his kick smothered by Bastanak. Bonner sweeps onto it. Gives it to Keefe. Keefe on the left. Big kick inside forward 50 now. The punch came from Frost. At ground level there's Daniels. He's buffeted off the ball, but he's got it at ground level. In and under there with Dawson. Plenty of bodies around the contest all of a sudden. The umpire will surely ball this up, and he does.
Very congested in there. He is a little goer, this Brent Daniels. We just called him, Bob.
So Smith again. Tackled. There was good work there by the Brisbane defence. Buntine will get back on this. Feed it back. Perryman just measures one and gets it out looking for Beaumont. And Beaumont to Budd. Just on the second grab. Keefe is the man of the target. Forced to kick quickly on the left. Didn't really look up. And only found Jacob Allison. Wrong team.
So Allison with the goal to his name already. Doing some fine work across half-back. Gets it to Keys. Now back to Mitchell Hinge. Left foot. It can be a little inaccurate. Gives the Giants' defence enough time to catch up with Liam Dawson. They'll still get out of here, though. Hinge gets the ball back. They're still sharing it around by hand. Keys now onto Bastanak. Left footer. Kicks it down. That's a nice mark taken there by Isaac Cumming on the logo on the outer side of the ground. That's the Stanley Street side of the Gabba.
So Ship... Whoop.
Hey.
I was going to say, big fly there.
That was amusing.
That was amusing.
Just planted his buttocks straight on his head. Sat there.
So it'll be Hinge that comes up with the ball. I'm just looking at the bench and I saw Shipley and I wanted to call him kicking the ball. That wasn't to be. So Dawson comes across into the back pocket. Finds Marengo. Marengo has Paparone all by himself. He's got a bit of space to move. What's his kick going to do? A little bit more to the advantage. And that's a lovely set of hands. And that's Caleb Franks. Gives it back to Paparone. Now back to Franks. A little bit of waxing going on. Franks goes to the top of the square. The run came from Big Tompkinson. And wrapping up the Giant player on the ground was Archie Smith.
I was going to say Caleb Franks was very close to selection for Redland in the NEAFL last week as well.
Flynn. He might have been just about gone. The umpire said no. Bastanak handballed it back into the massive players. Plenty of bodies around the contest. Plenty of tacklers. One of the ones at the top there was Bastanak. Cumming is in there as well. And also Evans, but the umpire says, give it to me. I'll throw it up in the air.
So he does so. Slap down. Ball ground level. Ballenden gets the ball over to... couldn't quite see who got absolutely belted there. It was Corey Lyons. Getting up last is Adam Kennedy. Throws it up again. Nice little tap down picked up by Allison. No, he loses the handle on the ball. Keys now. Can he recover? Gives it back to Allison. Hooks it with the left to the goal line. And nicely taken there by Lockie Keefe, who read that from a long way out. He's going to play on quickly.
Almost playing as that ruck rover type, Lockie Keefe at the moment. He is very nimble. The Giants, go down the outer side. Now to half forward. Foot race on. The first one there was Dawson, got a horrible bounce, then forced a tackle. He took his player down, really without the footy. Cox gave it back to Dawson, and Dawson grabbed at it like it was a piece of soap on a wet day. Out of bounds it goes.
And it is a beautiful day here at the Gabba. The curtain raiser for the AFL match later on is it's a little chilly, but out in the on the ground, are beautiful conditions for footballers. You see the throw in. Kennedy roves it outside of the right boot. That's nice work defensively from Liam Dawson, who got rid of McGrory with the nice little bit of a check and then took the mark. It's a challenging kick to Corey Lyons at centre half back. Now to Clay Beams, right on the edge of the centre square. Again, they want to play through the corridor, Bob. They hit Cedric Cox. Change of tack now goes to the outer side. Allison, who's been everywhere in the first quarter, kicks to the forward pocket. That's a mark that probably should have been taken there by Toby Wooler. A little bit of rust, I would say, game rust in the fingers.
Yeah, those ones you should just gobble those up. It was an easy one, and they're just making some errors at the wrong time at the moment, the Lions. Bastanak, probably 5 or 6 disposals, not one's hit the target.
A throw in now. Ballenden, he'll get the tap down for Brisbane. It's actually wrote by Perryman, given in there to Stein. His kick smothered beautifully. Well played there. Ryan Bastanak showing his experience and giving a little bit of a rev to the boys as well. And it's a throw in right on the 50-metre arc.
Well, possession-wise, Brisbane have control, 86 to 59. Inside 50 is actually going the Giants' way, 12 to 8 though. Ball back into play. Now coming away with it was Brisbane. It was Starcevic, just puts it to the dangerous area. Flying high was Sloan. And the Giants will come away with it. Keefe, he's been a bit everywhere lately. He gets it back to Kennedy under the pressure of Lyons. And Kennedy's kick, tried to find Evans, couldn't quite do so. Working hard there was Sloan. And wrapped up there. He looked like he threw that out. Umpire says no. Kennedy, the ball away to Evander Keefe. Just use his bit more bulk to win the day. Bud just kicks it quickly, only to Frost. Now the Lions can build. Not sure where to go, though. It was Paparone to Beams. And just butchering the ball there was Tompkinson. And it's just a bit of a comedy of errors. And Bonner, he'll win it from the comedy of errors. It was Tompkinson that was in the back.
They might be getting more possessions, but they're not quality possessions. As I say, my wife can go to the local shopping centre and gather up possessions that don't mean anything, but you don't want that happening as the Lions now. What can they do with the ball? Using it? No. It's well smothered there by Shipley. Jack Frost picks it up for Brisbane. Gives it now to Corey Lyons. He hooks it around inside 50. Good spoiling effort coming there from Stein. Gets the ball over the line. No, still in. McGrory belted by Lyons. An aggressive tackle. Umpire has deemed it an illegal tackle, too high. So McGrory will get the free kick for the Giants. We've played 26 minutes of the first quarter here on NEFL TV through our broadcast partner, Bar TV. And, of course, we're proudly supported by the good people at Elastoplast.
The ball ends up in the back pocket on the far side. Perryman with it. Just overcooks his kick and beats the player that he was looking for in Clark to the boundary line. So we'll have a throw in on the outer wing. Hasn't been a spectacular start by any stretch of the imagination, Bob. It's had its moments where it's been tight, but there's been littered by poor efficiency.
Yeah, look, I think poor efficiency more from the Lions. I think the Giants have been haven't as much as the footy, but they've used it a bit better. But that's kept them in the game. Otherwise, the Lions would be probably 2 or 3 up at this stage.
So Flynn and also Tompkinson. Battle in amongst there. Scott's in and under it. No great one-way forward for the Giants at the moment. Perryman lays the tackle. It goes out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Just forward to centre on that outer side. Going the Giants' way.
That's what I was emphasising before, the beautiful conditions here at the Gabba, not a breath of wind. So perfect conditions for footy, just the pressure of the situation getting the best of some of the players at the minute. Tompkinson, he goes up against Flynn. Flynn won the tap out. It's kicked towards centre half forward. Cedric Cox, beautifully read and nice hands. Now see what he can do with the ball. He does it beautifully. hits Corey Lyons. Commentary wing, chips it forward. There's Bastanak, takes the ball now. That's going to be a long entry, inside 50. Oh, well read, and what a great slips catch. Good set of hands from Matt Bunteen. Takes the mark, saves the day for the Giants, but it's a dodgy handball. Will they be able to get out of it? Stein, turnover. Brisbane with the ball. Caleb Franks, no, it's hacked out of there for the Giants. There goes Cedric Cox, double grabber. Runs to 55, lowers the eyes and finds Corey Lyons. He's got a man all by himself. It's Jacob Allison, who has been everywhere. He and Lockie Keefe, you mentioned it before, Bob, those two ruck rovery-looking players on the wing, they've been everywhere. But Jacob Allison's already got one and is having a cracker so far.
Yeah, look, Lockie Keith's been pushing back behind the footy a bit and winning plenty of possession, but when he did go forward, kicked a lovely goal. And the same with this young fella. His confidence is sky high at the moment, so you're back in to kick this.
Well, definitely has the journey. It's all about the accuracy. Jacob Allison taken at 55 in the 2016 draft, product of Aspley and the Lions Academy. Let's go from 49. It's fading right, and it's one behind. So right on the siren. The first indiscretion on the scoreboard for the Brisbane Lions. At quarter time, it is the Giants 3-1-19 to the Lions 2-1-13. At 6 points the margin. And I suppose that if you were the Lions coaching staff, you'd be looking at that thinking that was a quarter of missed opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, they had more of the footy. They just turned it over a lot more than what the Giants did. Inside 50s, they just couldn't get it in there as much, and that was through their own fault as much as anything else. 12-10 of the inside 50s, 99-81 the possessions. Marks, they've taken 36 marks, so they've controlled it to a certain extent, but the Giants, when they've had it, have just looked like they've had a bit more purpose.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up well. I think they've had much less of the footy, but they've used it a little bit better. Certainly they've had some good players, haven't they? Bonner's been good. You mentioned Daniels, he looked dangerous. Lockie Keefe's been good. Shipley, I like his work through the midfield. Perryman's been good, and Adam Kennedy's certainly played well. But for the Lions, Ellison and Cox have been their standouts. I think Lyons, Hinge and Smith have been okay. But, yeah, look, it's been a good quarter of footy. Give it to the Giants. They've got a 7-point lead or 6-point lead, and they've done pretty well to get that lead after having less of the footy.
Absolutely. 6 points the margin. The Giants lead it at quarter time here on NEFL TV. Through our broadcast partner, Bar TV, we'll be back with the second quarter very shortly. Welcome back to Neefle TV. This is round 12. The Brisbane Lions at home at the Gabba to the GWS Giants. At quarter time, it's the Giants by 6 points. 3-1-19 to the Lions, 2-1-13. Goal scorers for the Giants, Daniels, Keefe and Perryman. For the Lions, Allison and Tompkinson. Michael Price and Mark Kennedy calling all of your action, with Bob Batty doing the special comments. And I just kept going because I knew that the first bounce was always going to be recalled, Kanga. It's Murphy's Law, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. We had that in the first quarter. And now we're underway, similarly to that first quarter. Keys, getting his kick smothered by Archie Smith, of all people. Daniels, now to Kennedy. Just feeds it back, goes to Buntine. Now to half forward, going to the outer side. Just looking for a target and finding one in Peatling. Goes back, looking for Keefe. Keefe's been busy in that first quarter. Could have played for the Lions if they were faster than Collingwood to get onto him. Initial stages. Ball inside forward 50 now. Lions, Hinge, just playing for the free kick and winning it was Dylan Buckley. So inside forward 50, it'll have to be a good kick from there. But again, just a little bit of sloppiness.
He's capable. He is capable of doing this, Dylan Buckley.
Of course, former AFL player with Carlton. Just opens up the angle a little bit, brings it back around. Has it got the distance? It has, and it has the accuracy. That is a good conveyance of the football by Dylan Buckley. And the Giants move out to 4-1-26 to the Lions. I can't add up. 4-1-25 to the Lions, 2-1-13.
Yeah, great call, Pricey. You gave him a chance from out that on that far 50 logo. Virtually he was on, but he ran around, used the angle well, and curled it back around. He is a talented player. 40 games at Carlton. He, when he first started, the son of Jim was really touted as going to be a consistent player with the Blues, but fell off the radar a little bit. Trying to resurrect it up here as a rookie with GWS.
Well, seen him do that a few times for the Blues, but just obviously not often enough. Ball in the middle. Good bounce from umpire Brett Ritchie as the ruckman Flynn and Archie Smith went at it. It's towed forward for Brisbane and then just hacked out of mid-air there by Ty Evans. If that's not deliberate, I'm not sitting next to Mark Kennedy. Umpire Brett Ritchie comes in and says that certainly was. Chipped in board. Lions now through Billy Johnson. Kicks long down the line, or semi-long down the line. Finds Corey Lyons in front of the GWS bench, bathed in sunshine. He chips backwards. Again through Johnson. That's a dangerous-looking kick. Puts his teammate in Sam Skinner making his first appearance after 3 knee recos. Gets the ball through. Jack Frost kicks it inside 50. It's punched away there. That's a great physical effort from the young Giants player in Banuelos. It's towed out of there towards the benches. Again, Billy Johnson gets the ball. Handball, missed the target, but they should mop up here. Paparone, Hinge backwards, looking for Skinner. Skinner gets the ball, looking, well, that was reasonably confident on the knee, going one way then the other. So that's a tick for Sam Skinner to start with. Cedric Cox at left half back.
Cedric Cox over to Bastanak. Now they have Allison free. A little bit of space in front of him. So he just says, puts the foot down and says, catch me if you can. Shipley was no chance to get him. Inside forward 50 line. And Lyons, he was just a lot smaller than Lockie Keefe. So why would you try and sit it on his head? And it was easy pickings as he gets it out to Ty Evans.
It's only 20 centimetres difference. That's 2/3 of a ruler.
And Shipley now with the ball. On the wing to Sproul. A bit rangier than I thought, Zach Sproul. 197 centimetres. Tries to get around Cox and then just pulls it back on the left to Flynn. Flynn, the big boy, just lobs it inside forward 50 and with the mark there. And what a lovely mark is Delahunty. Liam Delahunty. What can you tell us about him, Bob?
Big lump of a kid from Coolamon in the Riverina, and with the under-16 nationals last year up here on the Gold Coast in Brisbane, kicked about 15 goals, got in the academy, AFL AIS Academy. He can mark the footy, as he did then.
So right behind it here on Neefle TV, Liam Delahunty starts it out to left. It's swinging back nicely. And the Giants have their 5th and open up what is a nice little lead of 18 points just 5 minutes into this second quarter.
Yeah, good reward for effort, wasn't it? And a lovely mark. The Lions have had plenty of inside 50s and haven't been able to grab one of those, except Tompkinson, I think, took one and put one through. Well, Delahunty's answered. As I said, a 17-year-old with plenty of potential. Won the medal, actually. Can't remember the name of the medal at Division 2 and under 16, but he won it. So got some real talent.
We'll call it the Bob Batty medal. And 5 goals won from 14 inside 50 entries for the Giants. 2 goals won from Brisbane's 12. So the Giants just much more efficient going inside their attacking zone. Archie Smith got it down. It's a good effort there from Clay Beams to get the ball out. Just wrestling there with his opponent in... Sproul getting up again.
Bigger man.
Yeah, he is a bigger man than Clay Beams. Flynn over the back of Smith, got the ball down, but Smith went and got the ball, turned it over. The umpire called that a throw. Yeah, I think he did, and GWS will get the free kick. It's Adam Kennedy's going to take it. Oh, he's trying to. He looks forward. Kicks long towards Flynn. Oh, could have been paid. Wasn't. Did well at ground level, the big man. Gets it now to Bunteen, who kicks it to the top of the square. Still in dispute. The Giants have a chance. Ball on the ground with Scott. He's tackled. Ball underneath him. Oh, I thought the big man in Flynn had enough of that.
Oh, yeah, no, I would have paid that one for sure. The big lob from the big mountain of a man, isn't he, Flynn, from Narandra?
And from the stoppage, that was a lovely setup. And tapped out the side. And Dylan Buckley gets his second in quick succession. And the margin all of a sudden, 24 points in favour of the Giants. Set play the way they did that. And the Lions, poor marking around the contest.
They obviously didn't see the replay of the last minute and a half of Gold Coast St Kilda last week. More or less the same play, Bob.
Yeah, Gresham on the outside, a block, and it's exactly what the Giants did there for Dylan Buckley, and great team play. You don't have to actually be involved in the contest to get your hands on the footy. If you block and make space for your teammate, you can get shots on goal like that one, and that's a great snap from Dylan Buckley. He'll be really very confident, I'd say, from the rest of the game now. He's a confidence player.
Absolutely. Special comments there from the Encyclopedia of Queensland Football and Bob Batty. It's Michael Price and Mark Kennedy calling your action here at Neefle TV as the Lions get the ball inside 50. Jake Barrett gets the handball to Beams. Beams from 30 under pressure. That's the goal they wanted back. Clay Beams provided it. And Jake Barrett with a little bit of spark, the man who played one game for the Giants in the AFL, is now rookie listed back through Brisbane. And the Lions get back in it. 6-1-37 to 3-1-19. It's back to an 18-point margin in favour of the Giants.
Well, you summed it up well there, Price, in the sense that a little bit of spark. They've seemed to want to measure themselves, and they haven't had the efficiency doing that by measuring it. So you need to take the game on, don't you? And that's exactly what they did. And it was a good run and carry of Clay Beams there just to finish off as well.
So that's what the game needed too, I think. The Giants were just about to skip away here, back to that 3-goal margin. Mark Kennedy.
A little bit of an errant bounce, so the umpire will bring it back yet again.
See, we time those things to the bounce, don't we? Talking up to it.
And just letting us down at the moment.
It's just like
on that occasion, I'll name him Sam Ward. The umpire, he throws it up in the air.
Turn it up.
Shipley, Bastanak with the tackle. Just stifled the kick. Winning the ball with Starcevic. Haven't seen that much of him. Handball eventually finds Bastanak, fed back. Paparone, Starcevic again, under pressure. The Giants are providing it. Perryman just wheels back, and he is tackled and taken out of play, and we'll have a throw in.
Now, we talk about spark. Now, Clay Beams has kicked that last goal. That's a bit of experience there too. Bob Batty just went in there and gave everything in that tackling contest to try and lift his side a bit.
Yeah, look, they need lift from those type of players, from Bastanak, from Paparone, the more experienced players. As you said, Clay Beams has been around 6 or 7 years now, and he has that experience. So they need to show the way in this quarter when they're under the pump.
Brandon Starcevic taken over the boundary line. We'll get another throw in. 18 points, the Giants lead it. 10 minutes gone, second term on NEFL TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV. It's slapped down once again, Starcevic. Can he get the ball out? He does, but only to the aid of the Giants. Here's Bonner. Went one way, then the other. Put it in front of Keefe. It bounces nicely for the big man. The athletic big fella. Wheels around onto the left foot. A good-looking kick and a great juggling effort there from Sproul. Had two opponents to beat and burnt them both.
Yeah, quality mark, quality kick from Lockie Keefe on the left. He's used that left foot a fair bit today. Kango must have learnt that one up in Gympie. You would have done some coaching lessons up there, I'm sure.
With the Gympie Cats.
And seriously, we did a lot with him, but he came from a soccer background. And as a tall midfielder in soccer, he had the ability right from the start to use his left and right.
Zach Sproul got it behind today. Looking for his first goal from the Albury Juniors. Very deliberate approach. He pulls it. He pulls it left. That's a goal that was probably down in the book. In fact, I did have it down in the book. So it's 6 goals to 38 to 3-1, 19. 19 points the margin in favour of the Giants.
So Dawson will just take it himself and then roost it to the outer side. Front spot was Ballenden, straight through his hands. Starcevic. Now to Barrett. A little chipping ball. A little bit dangerous, but finds Bastanak. Now to Keys. A little bit of space through the middle of the ground. Has the run of Corey Lyons. He'll get onto it now. What's forward of the play? Has a runner, and that's Jacob Allison. Goes back inboard. Cedric Cox, usually good with the ball. Finds his target with the handball. Hinges there. Gets around one. Gets away now. Finds Franks. Franks just to the front spot there. Not being able to take it there with Tompkinson. And wheeling around was Ben Keys. So front and centre, wheeled around, did it nicely.
Yeah, well done. I thought the big unit there in Tompkinson,
It
was almost went down his nanny goat, but it just could not get the hands around it. But the Lions had the numbers at ground level, Bob.
Yeah, good finish from Ben Keys. On the wrong side, on his right foot. Normally you'd say he'd struggle from there, but that was a great snap. And look, he was involved in getting that footing on the wing, so that's great running from Ben Keys. He has got a big engine, and they just need him to be more efficient with the use of the footy, and that's what he was then. So a badly needed goal. It kicked 2 in a row, and that miss from Sproul could be very costly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brought the margin back down to the 13 points.
The 11-point turnaround.
The 11-point turnaround. Kick it behind and have one kicked against you. Umpire Ritchie bangs it down in the middle. Good bounce. Archie Smith taps it. Bastanak curls it around with the right. Inside 50. Ballenden punched away from him beautifully. Great defence there by Stein. Ball hits the deck. McGrory. What's he going to do with it? Controls it nicely, the young fella, until he meets Bastanak. Bastanak just jumped on the ball. McGrory jumped on him. Umpire's going to say holding the agate. You can't just jump on the ball.
He thought he got a high one.
Yeah.
He
pulled
up.
You know what thought? Until the umpire blows his whistle, it's play on.
It's 50.
Bonner back to Bunteen and over the mark there and giving away a free kick or 50-metre penalty was the young fella in Stackelberg, or was that Ben Sloan?
I think it's Stackelberg.
That is Stackelberg, right the first time. It's like Trivial Pursuit. Go with your first thought. So Aidan Bonner.
That's a fair 52, I've got to tell you.
Jeez, that's a beauty.
It's Bunteen, I think.
Bunteen, yeah. Bonner was just running along beside him. I was just thinking he was going to try and get the cheap handball. Instead of going for goal, he chips it up to the top of the square. Massive pack of players. Cedric Cox reads it beautifully off the deck. Nice pass. Dangerous, but finds Bastanak.
They come through the corridor. Now Keys. Bit of space in front of him, and he likes to run as well. Just goes to the outer side a little, but has the player in Barrett, and he just puts a hand up and said, boys, I'm not going to play on, but he's going to look for options. Now he's called to go. Gives it to Bastanak on the fly. He goes long. One-on-one contest. Tompkinson was there. Moore did it easy. Didn't kill the spoil, though. Buntine under pressure. Now to Clay Beams. Doesn't go the required distance. Stackelberg to Bastanak. And Bastanak around the corner kicks a nice goal. So the Lions, they didn't panic there. They used it reasonably well through the middle. And that's a little bit more composure the way they've gone about it. Bob Batty, as they narrow the margin to 13 points.
Yeah, well, some of their more experienced players have come to the fore, haven't they, in the last 10 minutes when they've been under the pump, and no more than Ryan Bastanak there. He won again. I mentioned Ben Keys winning the ball in the midfield and then kicking a goal. Well, Bastanak did exactly the same, did some good work through the midfield, finished off nicely around the body, and, they're experienced players. Love the work of Cedric Cox. Like, we're talking about players not using the ball properly. He is just silky skilled, isn't he? Both sides of the body, attacks the ball, and he's going to be a real player.
Well, they did narrow the margin to 7 points. So I was getting a bit ahead of myself there. 146 to 111 possession-wise, going Brisbane's way. Inside 50s are 17 apiece. 44 to 22 marks going Brisbane's way. Clearances just going the Giants' way, 13 to 12. Some of those stats thanks to Champion Data.
Umpire throws it up in the middle. Flynn knocks it down for the Giants. Lions with the numbers at ground level, though. Marengo can't quite pick it up. Jake Barrett does, loses it. Shipley, handball off there to Daniels, kicks it inside 50, or right on 50. Handball through Peatling. Peatling now to, was it Beaumont who got it to ball? Boot to ball. It was Beaumont. Quick answer from the Giants. 7-2-44 to the Lions. 5-1-31. That was just getting the ball forward. And again, great little work there from Brent Daniels in the clinches there, Bob. Got the ball out.
Yeah, Matthew Flynn doing well in the ruck work too, I reckon, those centre clearances. But fantastic handball there under pressure there from James Peatling, the boy from Pennant Hills. He played for the Allies last Saturday against Vic Metro and contributed very nicely and has dropped back in at this level and doesn't look out of place.
So the margin back out to 13. Umpire just really setting himself over the top of it to try and get a good one away. That one goes on. Flynn, Perryman. The kick from Perryman wasn't a good one. Allison just bats it forward. Going his way. Shipley, the Keefe, just looks backwards. And Bud, he almost threw that. Umpire says no. Stein's there. Evans is there. Squeaky little kick out to the side. Keefe gets back on it. On that familiar left again. Well, it's not the good one, but it's not a bad club to use in having the bag. And the Giants, they're running with a bit of numbers here. On the outer side, inside forward 50 they go. Frost tries to get involved here. Sproul, they got runners. Perryman just straightens up on the right and kicks another. That's 2 for him. And the Giants, they've answered. And they've answered with a pair in quick succession. So the margin back out to 19 points.
Proven a handful up forward, Zach Sproul, since he's moved up into that goal square, and whoever's got the gig on him back there needs to tighten up. I think Sam Skinner's got the role at the moment. Jack Frost could be another one to look forward to maybe move on to him to close him down, but that's great work from Sproul and great finish. Harry Perryman, he's just a footballer, isn't he? You just love those types. You put them in your team every week.
Couple of goals to Harry Perryman. He and Dylan Buckley, the only multiple goal scorers in the game. They're both playing for GWS. 19 points to the margin. 18 and a half gone second term on Neefle TV. Smith can't quite get the ball down. He was up against there. Scott on the ground level. Towed forward now by Flynn. Gets just inside 50. There's Daniels again, in and under. Having a red-hot crack at it. Perryman, smothered. Ball back inside the centre square. They're being pushed backwards here, the Giants. That's really well played there by Pollock. Dangerous spot. Goal square. Delahunty. Misses. One behind. So it's 8-3, 51 to the Brisbane Lions, 5-1-31. 20 points to the margin. It's the Giants leading, 19 gone, second term.
But under pressure all of a sudden. They've come in waves. Dawson kicks it in. Finds Paparone just inside the boundary line on that outer side. Still inside defensive 50. Not sure where to go, so decides just to lob it down the line. Moore had front spot. Smith. Stein just belts it back his way. And pressure coming from everywhere for the Giants. Lyon finds Clay Beams. Over the top it comes. Starcevic goes deep inside forward 50. And that's a free kick every day of the week, I would have thought. And it will go the way of Ben Sloan. Just dragged off the ball. It was sloppy defensive work there and probably gives an unnecessary opportunity inside forward 50, Bob.
Yeah, a real finger breaker of a kick, wasn't it? Really didn't give him much of an opportunity, but he was in the prime position, and the defender, I'm not sure whether it was Shipley or whoever it was.
Yeah, Shipley.
Shipley, yeah, look, he just seemed to be caught out of position and gave away a silly free kick in front of goal. Should kick this, Ben.
So Sloan kicks the goals generally well and does so on this occasion. So it's been a bit of ebb and flow, hasn't it? The Lions kicked a couple in quick succession, then the Giants, and now the Lions again. They come along, narrow the margin back to 14 points. And Ben Sloan from the Lions Academy plays quite a few games with Redlands as well. So good to see him hit the scoreboard. We've got a bit of a game on our hands, I think, as it opens up.
Yeah, look, the Lions need a lift out of players such as, Wooler's been off the ground a little bit. He's only played that first quarter, but cross half forward, Starcevic, Ballenden, hardly touched the footy, those two. Need a lift out of those. Archie Smith and Flynn, what a great contest this is in the middle of the ground, Pricey.
Absolutely, and they're going to go at it again. Big boy, Matthew Flynn, isn't he? He's been a GWS Academy member since he was 12 years old from Narrandera. He's probably 6 foot when he was 12 too, just quietly. Slapped down, umpire Richie comes in, holds him up. And we'll get another bounce just forward of the centre circles in the Giants' direction. Once again, we're going to be held up here. Ball got slapped down. It was Beams and Starcevic tackling all over Perryman. And a third stoppage. Just hitting the stoppage at pace was Clay Beams. Did it beautifully. And that gave Ballenden the chance to get front position. He's got this journey, this kid. I reckon he can kick this. He'll probably have to let go from just inside the centre square. What do you reckon, Bob?
Oh, look, he's a chance to kick the distance. His confidence would be down. If he was up and about, you'd back him to kick it for sure.
Number 43 in last year's draft from the Lions Academy. From inside. Oh, that's a floating mongrel. Oh, it's a pass. That's what it was. It was a beautiful kick and a nice mark taken from Toby Wooler, who's back. His first game in Brisbane Lions colours after months out with a busted finger. That was a floating sack from Connor Ballenden, wasn't it?
I wouldn't have even put that in a sack.
But Toby Wooler, this would be a great welcome back for the young man. Leans back and kicks it. You watch him get around him too. The Lions get around Toby Wooler. It's his first game in the colours after being drafted. And puts them only a goal and 2 points away. So 8 points the margin, 51 plays 43. And, Bob, that must have been a great feeling for everybody.
Well, certainly he just had a broken finger. That was a finger-breaking kick that he took the mark. It could have just about re-snapped it. It was moving around left and right, and well judged, wasn't it? He is a talent. In the air, he is very, very good. Toby, he's just got to improve his work rate and just get around the footy a bit more. But as I said, good genes. Grandfather, Freddie Wooler, captain of a premiership team in Geelong back in 1963 from Bacchus Marsh.
I'll tell you, the other bloke had a good feeling, and that was Connor Ballenden, knowing that was marked. And it went to hand rather than that absolute pile of.
Can I just say, it was a floating sack, but it still went 55 metres straight.
Yeah, it was he puts a fair bit behind it, does young Connor.
Yeah.
Kennedy, he tackles Keys. Now Bonner's tackled, and that's in the back is the call. So a little bit lucky for mine, but Allison threw his head back in somewhat disgust. Bonner gives it to Perryman. Good players. Now to Kennedy. Talking about good players, he's a ripper. And just standing tall there was Skinner. Good to see him back as well. We talked about Wooler before. That would give him confidence. Paparone kicks the ball, finds a target. and finds Keys. Goes out wide. That's not a good kick. Perryman comes through, spins out of a tackle, gives the handball over, and just the shot for goal was a terrible one by Beaumont. He had options, I feel, and a little bit of lack of composure costing the Giants.
Yeah, he had Zach Sproul 20 metres from goal basically by himself saying, doing the old moving pictures, what about me? Get the ball in. And could be a free kick for the Giants. Man taken without the ball. Sproul definitely gave one away. No, he actually got one himself.
Well, it was just a lack of talk there. The tackle was on Billy Johnson.
Yes.
And he just no awareness around him coming from the players.
So Zach Sproul kicked 2 behinds today. Let's go from 50. That's a beautiful kick. It's going to hit right on the line. Touch through. And another behind. So it's the Giants 8-4-52. The Lions 7-1-43. It's back to a 9-point margin. We played 25 and a half minutes of the second term, Neefle TV.
Frost with the big roost. Moore with the fist. Keys couldn't take it with him. He goes again. Moore lays the tackle. And the tackle subsequently came from Sproul on Tompkinson. Ball 55 metres out from goal.
Love to see the Lions' disposal efficiency for this first half. It wouldn't be their best for season 2018, I dare say.
Keefe just hit it to the back. It was sharp by Bastanak. Gets it to the wing. Buntine with the spoil and butters up at ground level. And he's set upon. Going nowhere. So the ball will be thrown up. Not far from us in the commentary position here. And of course, our broadcast partner on Neefle TV, Bar TV. As Keefe, uncontested, goes down. And that one's going nowhere as Paparone lays the tackle on Shipley.
He's a big boy, Nick Shipley, isn't he? The boy from Campbelltown. He's, picked 65 last year in the draft. He could be a player, I think.
Already in the 93 keg, so he's carrying that weight as well. Not a lot of time needed in the gym, as that was towed forward from Ben Keys, and as signalled by the umpire, came off the knee of Ty Evans. His knee's obviously painted orange and with a Nike swoosh on it, because that's fair dinkum off the boot. They're having a conversation.
I think they were gave the benefit of the doubt there.
They should.
I don't think the boundary umpire really picked up where it was from.
We were right in front of it. They were blindsided by the player. Slap down. Shipley again receives the ball from Scott. Handball off to McGrory. There's a bit of a floater and doesn't find the target. Sam Skinner. Another feel-good story. Back from 3 knee reconstructions, but he took his time there and has just about flubbed it up for the Brisbane Lions defence. Turnover, Buckley, handball over the top, and Sproul, he wasn't going to miss it from there. Sorry, Beaumont again. Max Beaumont gets his second. This one from the goal square, so the third multiple goal scorer for the Giants, and it's 9-4-58 to 7-1-43. 15 points the margin late in the second term.
Yeah, we just mentioned their disposal, and Ben Keys turned the ball over and nearly cost them a goal. And there's one from Sam Skinner. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Been out for a year with his third knee reco, the kid from Gippsland Power. Did it as a 17-year-old. Did it when he was just about due to play his first game at training, would you believe? And then unfortunately did it again early last year. So great to see him back, but he's biting off a bit too much at the minute. Just get back and kick the ball long out of defence, Sammy.
So Smith got it down wonderfully to Bastanak, now to Beams. Good build-up from Brisbane. And the problem is you've got to have a forward in front. Tompkinson wasn't in front. Moore was the man. The defender came out to meet it.
A lot of experience from Moore.
Short kick finds Cumming. Back to Moore. They have some targets. One of them being Clark. And he, in turn, has Buntine. So just outside defensive 50 now. Deliberate. Just held on to the ball nicely. Of course, they do lead by 15 points here late in this second quarter. Down the line it goes. The spoil came from Frost. Hinges there. He's set upon by a couple of Giants. One of which was Bonner. The other one was Delahunty. Of course, a goal kicker, Delahunty. Keefe There's the ball, just off one step. That's a poor kick. And he finds Sam Skinner at halfback.
Reckon he might kick this one down the line? No, he goes for the short pass, finds Mitchell Hinge. He looks back in the corridor and beyond. Finds his teammate there in Billy Johnson. Handball back now. What's Cox going to do? Oh, Beams. Put the one mid out. Couldn't quite control it. Physically knocked off the ball. Now it's with Adam Kennedy at the back of the centre square. That's a searing pass. Hit it beautifully. Well done to Delahunty, who turns and goes and gives it to Sproul. Sproul, he had an opportunity to go short any longer, and he had the Lions to deal with. Just pops it up to the top of the square. Dangerous ball. Off hands. Bonner! It came off his hands. He roved his own agate and dribbled it through for a goal. Brilliant stuff there from Aidan Bonner. Pick number 11 in last year's draft. And he gets the Giants' 10th goal. 10-4-64. Plays 7-1-43. That's 21 points the margin now. This quarter's going to be a beauty. The Giants have kicked 7 goals, 3. And the Lions 5 goals straight. So it will be a long quarter, Bob.
Yeah, it certainly will. 12 goals, anyone's language, is a great quarter of footy, but the Giants already had a lead early, so it's consolidated their position. Yeah, you spoke well of Aidan Bonner prior to the game, and the reason he went pick 11 is what you just saw there. He is a real talent, can play in the midfield, can go forward, and he's certainly got an AFL career ahead of him.
That was Bastanak out of the middle. Up to Ballenden. Running onto it was Barrett. Gave the cheeky little handball. Sneaky off to Keys. And Keys kicks his second. So that's the immediate reply, and they needed it. So it just looked like they had a bit of control there, the Giants. And now the margin back to 15 points.
Yeah, good work out of the middle, wasn't it? And quick kick. Like, that's what the 4A forward they did earlier. They let themselves down with their short kicking, trying to pinpoint it, and Booms went one-handed. This time they went forward and bang, it was in a hot spot. It puts the defenders under pressure, and good quick hands from Barrett. He's been important up there when it's counted, and good finish to Keys.
Just quickly round the grounds, Canberra making a bit of a mess of Aspley, 79-37, pretty much at three-quarter time. We'll get to the other one shortly. Cox couldn't handle it, and Bastanak comes away with it.
Bastanak, he just chips it towards the commentary wing. It bounces awkwardly there for the Lions. Shipley picked it up, dribbled it nicely. He's going to get the handball back from Keefe. Now over to Peatling. Peatling, right leg hard pressed against the boundary. He kicks it towards half forward. Good contest, ground level, taken there by Johnson for Brisbane. He's tackled into the ground, ball stuck underneath. We'll get a ball up at right half forward for the Giants. They're pressing again. Quarter's gone 32 and a half minutes. We've had 13 goals scored in this term. So defence is what's got the advertising on it and the tape as well.
So Stein comes through. He did well. Shipley feeds the ball out. Perryman just goes underground, finds a target. With the quick kick in was Clark. And taking the nice relieving mark there was Sam Skinner. Asked to go on now, so chips the ball out to the pocket. Finds Hinge. Hinge, he'll like to get on that left foot. Puts it in the path of Sloan. Sloan inboard. It's a target. It's Barrett. Barrett, little chip up. Finds Archie Smith. They feed the ball through the middle quickly. Lyon. Just can't quite get it to a teammate there. Might be Keneally or Keneally. And he's in trouble? No. The umpire says that will be a ball up. So they've taken it just forward to centre. A little bit of a build-up there. They just need to move it quickly, Bob.
Yeah, just a poor kick again from Corey Lyons. Like, you just got to hit those targets from 20 metres.
Bastanak under a lot of pressure. Handball back to Paparone under extreme pressure. He just lobs up a sky ball off hands. Starcevic. Ball propelled forward and then buffeted back towards the Giants. It's Mitchell Hinge and Cedric Cox tackling Dylan Buckley. And another ball up in the middle. Archie Smith taps it down. Bastanak overruns it. It's towed out by Perryman. Bouncing awkwardly there for Pollock. It's going to come back out. Shipley now. Keefe chips it forward. Daniel takes it. Right on 50. Lowers the eyes. Great kick. Brent Daniels, what a pass. Just had a good look. Could have blazed away. But then saw the man who had 4 Lions players around him and dropped it on his chest. Great pass there, Bob.
Yeah, the difference between the two sides on it so far has been that ability to sum up the situation and pinpoint a target. The Lions keep missing them. GWS don't.
So Dylan Buckley, the former Blue, as we said, he's kicked 2. Can come in and kick his 3rd. All in this quarter. Leans back on it and misses to the right. 10-5, 65 to 8-1, 49. 16 points the margin. 35 minutes played in the second term.
Well, we might run into the senior game the way we're going. The kick was just got to where it needed to go. Under pressure, Lions goes out to Frost. He in turn misses a elementary handball. Looking for Dawson. He handballed it behind him and it rolls over the boundary line.
Just sums up the play from some of those senior players. Just laconic at times. That you just got to be more professional on that.
Just got to do the little things well. Smith from the back, Perryman around the corner. That'll go just about all the way. It won't just. It did. That's 3 for Perryman. And just sharked it off the contest and said, rightio, I'll just have a crack at it. And through it goes. That's a crucial goal for the Giants to put a bit of space in before halftime, I should say. 22 points now. It was a bad error from Brisbane to open up the opportunity, Bob.
Yeah, we talked about it. 2 experienced players, Liam Dawson and Jack Frost. Should be doing better than that. They've played a lot of NEFL footy. They've played a lot of senior footy between them, probably 60, 70 games. And you don't make mistakes like that, otherwise it'll come back to haunt you, and it did then.
8 goals, 4 to the Giants in this quarter. Phenomenal quarter of football for them. As Flynn gets the ball out. They're going to be under a bit of pressure this time. Scott actually propelled it forward. And there is the siren after 36 and a half minutes. There's plenty of goals scored at halftime. It's the Giants by 22 points after they led by 6 points at quarter time. 8 goals, 4 to the Giants in that quarter. 6 goals straight to the Brisbane Lions. For the Giants, Perryman's got 3. Dylan Buckley's got 2. Beaumont with 2. Singles to Bonner, Daniels, Keefe and Delahanty. For the Lions, Ben Keys with the only multiples of the game. He's got 2. Bastanak, Beams, Allison, Wooler, Tompkinson and Sloan have all got 1. But I think the scoreboard might be flattering the Brisbane Lions after that first half, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think it is. To be honest, I think that the Giants have looked far more polished with what they've done. And the Lions at times really have looked sloppy. So kudos have really got to go the Giants' way. And I would tell you, and I'm probably anticipating that Mitch Hahn would rightly be filthy with the offering that the Lions have put up to half-time. And conversely, Adam Schneider, despite being having less listed players, will be pretty happy with the way they've gone about it.
Yeah, look, they've had more contributions from a better spread of players, haven't they, the Giants, and have made less mistakes when they've had possession. They've used the ball well and they've looked dangerous, and none more than Harry Perryman, 3 goals and a multitude of footy around the ground. But look, they've had plenty of good players, but look, they... I wouldn't rule the Lions out. They certainly are getting plenty of the footy. They've just got to be smarter with their ball use and probably be a little bit more professional in the way they approach things. But look, it's been a quality contest. What a second quarter. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Brilliant second quarter as far as the punters are concerned. Just sitting here and watching the goals belt through. But we'll go through the numbers and reanalyse that first half for you. Look forward to the second half very shortly. After this break, it's NEFL Round 12, the Lions versus the Giants, streaming live on NEFL TV through our broadcast partner, Bar TV. Welcome back to NEFL TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV. NEFL round 12, the Brisbane Lions versus GWS Giants at halftime. The Giants by 22 points after they led by 6 points at quarter time. It's Michael Price and Mark Kennedy calling all of your action, with Bob Batty providing the special comments. This is Mark Kennedy to get the second half underway.
It was Smith, now to Hinge. Hinge on the left foot, inside forward 50, goes long, Ballenden!
That's better.
That is better from Ballenden. He plays on quickly. That isn't better because the kick just wasn't there. And a scrimmage forms. And holding the ball is the call. So Brisbane will get a shot at goal. But probably not in the way we initially thought after Ballenden taking the contested mark, and it's Clay Beams.
Yeah, Ty Evans just fell on the ball basically, and they fell on him, and he had pretty much no hope of getting it out. But once you dive on it, you're absolutely under the pump.
Yeah, you said Mitch Hahn would give him a spray at half time. I'm pretty sure there is. It's still ringing as Clay Beams should come in and kick the first one of the third quarter.
So Beams, off a couple of steps, makes no mistake. That's 2 for him. And the Lions, they put it back to 16 points, the margin, early in this third quarter.
Well, you hit it on the head with regard to their entry into that forward line. It was Mitch Hinge running off the half-back flank, kicked the ball long and kicked it well into the 50 to give Ballenden a chance for a mark. And he didn't let him down. He's been unsighted in the first half, along with a few other mates that are listed players with the Lions they need to pick up. But, yeah, good finish there from Clay Beams. He and Cedric Cox have been their standout players.
So umpire Sam Ward has the ball in the middle of the Gabba. Beautiful bounce. It's Archie Smith versus Flynn. Flynn gets the tap down. And again, Smith just let Flynn get the tap, and then he sharked it, roved it, and got it away. That's Wooler now. Another entry inside 50. Keys is at the back. And good defensive play there by Stein. It hits the deck and goes through 4 behind. So the Lions pressing, the Giants 11-5 to the Lions 9-2. 15 points the margin.
Look like they've got a bit more intent now, don't they? Oh. Well, that's a dicey kick in. The ball there is Wooler. Handball across. Lions has got it. Quick handball. Ballenden. Now to Keneally. I keep calling him Keneally, but Keneally it is. Puts on another one. And the Lions have shown some intent. 9 points adrift now. We have played only 2.5 minutes of this third quarter, and they've added 2.
Quick entry again, Kanga. That's the key. Get it in quick and put the defence under pressure. And that was a great snap from young Keneally, as you called him, or Keneally. And the boy has played as a top-up through most of the year. Boy from Springwood, a 19-year-old. And handy goal, and that's put them right back in the contest.
And it is only the 9 points, 11-5, playing 10-2. High-scoring contest. The second quarter went for 36.5 minutes. Ball is back down in the middle of the Gabba. Archie Smith versus Matthew Flynn. Unfortunately, the bounce is astray. We'll get it recalled.
Had a bit of trouble with this, the umps today, haven't it? It must be real hard out there in the middle, but haven't got too many straight perpendicular up in the air.
Oh, it's probably the honourable cricket pitch that gets all of the time and money of the Gabba, as Bonner gets the free kick for GWS. Kicks it out to the low go. Nice bit of dummy work there by Delahunty. Kicks it long inside 50. Bounces in front of him, in fact, and ball goes over the boundary. We'll get a throw in, right forward pocket. Giants by 9. 4 minutes gone, third term. NEFL TV through Bar TV.
A chance for the Lions to get it out of defence, and a chance for the Giants to add another one. Shipley just tries to push a couple off, gets the handball away. Ball now to Flynn. Just a little chipping ball, doesn't go the required distance. Cummings there, Bonner's there. Under pressure, gets the kick up. It's not bad. They'll have to sit here, the Giants players, but not able to get there. Paparone. Cumming is there. In fact, it wasn't Cumming, it was Buckley. Buckley just goes back. It was off hand, so Stein plays on. And a chain of handballs eventually gets turned over, and here they come. Beams now to Wooler. Wooler, scrubby old kick inside forward 50 with no real intent at all. If it goes out, would have been interesting. And it has gone out of bounds, and I thought for a moment that Tim Moore might have got a foot on it and put it out of bounds on the full.
That would have dead set been deliberate if it had gone out off the boot of Wooler, though.
Absolutely.
It was a
100%.
wobbling mongrel there. But again, it's been a while since he's run around in a competitive game of footy.
In some ways, it was a smart kick. He was under pressure and running towards the boundary line and had no option, really, just to keep it in. And luckily, it was touched out of bounds. But, yeah, another chance.
So Ballenden, he tapped it down to Corey Lyons. Great bit of ruck work. Lyons on the left foot. Classic bit of ruck work from Connor Ballenden, and Corey Lyons made them pay. So it's within 3 points now. The Giants 11-5-71, the Lions 11-2-68. Nearly 6 minutes gone. Third term, Neefel TV.
Well, Kanga, when we discussed it just on half-time, we said that they'd just butchered a lot of the footy. Didn't get it in quick enough. We're looking for the easy kicks and the easy options and turn the ball over. Been a completely different turnaround, hasn't it? The first 5 minutes they've been hard at it, get it in quick and put them under the pump.
When Harry met Sally in the dressing room, perhaps, I'll have what he's having. As Mitch Hard probably delivered, you'd suggest, certainly a change of tactics, but maybe he went old school, a bit of a spray. So the margin is just 3 points. The Giants can go forward now. Bonner, Shipley, now to the big boy in Flynn. Flynn goes long. Stein's there. Pushed his opponent off the ball nicely. It was Skinner. And then just dribbles the ball through. Establishes or re-establishes a bit of a buffer there. And Sproul for number one.
Kicked a couple of behinds, Zach Sproul. Could have had a couple of goals. Good bit of body work there, Kanga.
It was. And it was nice work there. I think I mentioned in that second quarter, he's a bit of a lump. He's a bigger lump of a lad than I first thought. 197 centimetres and 90-plus kilos, Bob.
Yeah, no, he's a good size and a good talent. He's a rookie there at the GWS through the academy. I'm just interested in this. It's like a bit of chalk lotto, this bounce at the minute. I reckon there's been about 6 or 7 that have gone directly to advantage of one of the opposition ruckmen, and they've let it go. So let's see how this one goes. Beautiful.
Absolutely. Umpire Brett Ritchie, formerly in the AFL, as it's towed forward inside 50 for the Giants. Nice bit of work there from your man, Tuera Marango. Kanga from the sunny coast, now through Sandgate. Liam Dawson receives the handball, tackled by Buckley, and it's holding the ball. Umpire will not allow the advantage to happen. There's still a little bit of wrestling going on behind the play. So Dylan Buckley, of course, 39 games with the Carlton Blues before being delisted. The son of Jim is now with the Giants. Looks inside 50. Puts it to the top of the square. Lions had the ascendancy as far as the height goes. At ground level, the Giants have got the numbers. They hold it up. And it will be a ball up in the right forward pocket for GWS, and they're pressing again. Leading by 9 points, the Lions have scored the first 3 goals of this third quarter.
And out of the pack, indiscriminate kick, just the behind, was never on target. It's the man I like to see with the ball for the Lions. It just looks silky smooth. It was out, Cedric Cox that was, and a free kick in the marking contest will go the way of Ben Sloan. Gives it back to Cedric Cox. Chipping ball. Just about made a liar out of me, Cedric Cox, in the last 2 disposals, but Brisbane hold on to the footy. Now it was Lyons. Gives it back to Cox for a third possession. That one hits the target. And Beams. I'm not sure where he's going, Beams, but he gives it back to Skinner. I thought he genuinely forgot which way they were going. Goes out towards Jacob Allison. So Allison has a man spare. It's Liam Dawson, and they're on this commentary wing.
Dawson wheels around onto the right, waits the kick nicely. He's very fortunate there. The young man in Keneally Just waited for it a little while. The Giants defender pressed in on him in coming. He kicks it inside 50. Keys gets in the way of Barrett. Perryman for the Giants, kicks it forward. There's coming again. Handball to Shipley. Now they're going to get it out of here through Stein. Chips it forward. Jack Frost beelines the ball, meets it, gives it off to Caleb Franks. Measures a kick and does it nicely. Finds Jake Barrett 40 metres from goal. He turns. He's got free men everywhere. And once again, the Lions find a target inside forward 50. This time it's Marco Paparone. And a player of his experience from about 40 metres out should be drilling this one. I'm getting the raised eyebrows. It's a 50-50 conveyance, is it?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't put down your glasses here, I'd suggest. He hasn't been in the greatest of kicking efficiency form.
Yeah, their tails are up, though, the Lions. I think you might just get this one through.
Paparone. No problem.
Made me eat it.
He made you eat it. Marco Paparone gets the 12th goal for the Lions. The Giants 12-6, the Lions 12-2. It's 4 points the margin, and we've played just on 11 minutes of the third term on Neefel TV. Yeah,
full credit there to Jack Frost. He attacked the footy. It was in dispute. It was a indiscriminate kick. That's what the Lions have been doing coming out of defence. And they kicked one that hit the ground, and he really attacked it hard and really hit hard. I think he hit Buckley and got the ball forward. And nice finish from Paparone, and hopefully that will lift his confidence and the confidence of those around him.
We've got a game on our hands now. We thought just before half-time the Giants were starting to take control. We were critical of the Lions, but they've really come out and made a statement in this third quarter. That bounce will be recalled.
Back. It's a tough gig for Cody Stackelberg, the young fella playing against Aiden Bonner. I know they're of similar age, but it's a big task in the middle.
He's, if nothing, he's very tough, is Cody Stackelberg, as the high tackle is given away by Archie Smith. And getting up with it will be Scott. Go through the middle, Kennedy. Now Keefe. Now off to McGrory. The kick wasn't good. It was under pressure.
Oh, clever.
Well done there by Cedric Cox. Frost is there. Marengo back to Cox. Now to Hinge. Marengo just didn't quite see it coming quick enough. Luckily it fell back to Hinge, and Hinge gets a settler and finds Ben Keys still behind his defensive 50.
Yeah, I love the way Hinge uses the ball, Bob, when he's got a nice, clean set of boots about him when it comes to that.
He's been efficient today, hasn't he? He's been one of the defenders that's been consistent all the way through so far.
Billy Johnson down the outer side. It's towed forward. Here's Tompkinson. Off his hands. Beams. Loops a handball over the top. Giants have got the numbers here. They'll cut it off. McGrory. Shipley by hand. Once again, they get the ball a little bit easy out of their half-back line. It's a nice mark taken by Peatling. Peatling wheels inboard. Little one to Liam Delahunty. So they're content to just hold on to possession with the Lions set up a bit better in front of them at the minute. It's going to be a long bomb towards Sproul territory. Cedric Cox over the top, punches it over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in the forward pocket.
Well, I do really like the way Cedric Cox can play on that tall player, but he can obviously play on the small and really work off him as well.
I just hope he plays, real a quality four-quarter effort here, Cedric. He flashes in and out a bit. I'd love to see him play 4 real good quarters.
Wrapped up, lovely tackle was put on Scott and rewarded. And that's Tawara Marengo. Well done to the boy from the Sunshine Coast. That kick is dangerous. Frost, he's made to work very hard for the Lions to maintain possession. And just using his feet to try and take possession was Jacob Allison. Keys, he coughs it up. Kennedy was the tackler. Now the Giants, I'm not sure what sort of a handball that was. Play on's the call. Evans, the kick up. And Lion should, or in fact it was Marengo, I think, to get back and win the day. And a little bit of a comedy of errors, but coming out, and Paparone, the goal kicker, he'll get it to Archie Smith at half-back out of side.
So Smith in front of Flynn. Handball to the run of Clay Beams. Gets around the big fella and gives it back to his big fella in Smith. Long down the line, that kick does not advantage anybody except for the Giants' Bud. He takes the mark. Looks back inboard. Not a lot of movement for him laterally, so he goes longer down the line. He's got a couple of numbers there. Nice bit of body work from Flynn allowed Banuelos to come across the face and take the mark. He kicks it to Adam Kennedy in the middle of the ground. Once again, the Lions are setting up better in front of the ball, a hell of a lot better than they did in the first half, Kanga.
Yep, structure, very important when you're making changes mid-game. Perryman, he's kicked 3 so far for the Giants. Not sure where to go, so that's probably just a bit of a sign that they've just held them up. Good kick there finds Anthony Scott.
Been useful today too.
He's had a go, hasn't he? On the left foot, just sits it up, looking for the tall timber of the Giants. The punch came from Archie Smith. Upended was Banuelos. Got to get that pronunciation right as players.
Just pretend it's a W.
Banuelos.
No, Banuelos.
Banuelos.
Mm-hmm.
English is my second language, even though I'm trying to pronounce a bit of an inflection there. It falls down, and just a neat little kick around the corner from Anthony Scott to the near side of the goalpost. He knew what he was doing. The execution wasn't quite right, but the thought process was only one behind.
Yeah, Lions starting to fall back into that tendency of going short and going to blokes chipping around 15 metres and not really getting it long and getting in quick. And that's a problem. If they go back to that, they could be in trouble.
At ground level, Paparone needs to get more involved for mine. Goes back for a second bite. Gets it to Beams, who loops a handball over the top. It's cut off there by Stein. Gives it off. The Giants on the charge again. Inside 50. Beautifully weighted kick. And it hits Tom Banuelos in time for the World Cup, Kanga. Banuelos, he's actually out of the AFL Sydney competition. He's a mature age.
I thought I saw him in the bullfight over in Barcelona, Michael, only a couple of weeks ago. But maybe not. Maybe it's a similar name.
Well, he read that beautifully. And he's going to have a ping at them from 35 to 40 out. Tom Banuelos for the Giants. A bit of a lazy mongrel effort. That was terrible. And in fact, Tom, and one behind results. Lucky to hit his shoe at that stage. 80 plays 74. So it's one straight goal. And the Giants lead this one as the Lions bring it back in quickly through Beams. Now to Dawson.
Dawson over the top, looking for the run of Allison. Now to Cox. Gives it to Allison. He just tries to use his leg speed, and he is gone.
Great tackle.
Well done there by Daniels. I thought he almost got a handball, but we were blindsided. The umpire had the good view of it. Back inside forward 50 at the back. Couldn't take it there was Beaumont, but kicking it anyway for the Giants was Peatling. So Peatling gets what I'd suggest is a required goal for the Giants, just to give them a bit more breathing space. 2 goals now the margin, 12 points, and we have played nearly 18 minutes of this third quarter.
I mentioned the fact that they're going short again and fiddling around with the footy. They've done it again. It's cost them a goal, turnover. Great tackle from the young fella in Daniels. But Allison, twice now he's come through, taking his eye off the footy instead of getting it, banging it long like they did the first 5 minutes of this third quarter and getting it forward. Turnover to the opposition and goal. So it's going to cost them if they keep that up.
Umpire Ward puts it down in the middle. Flynn versus Smith. Give that one to Flynn. It ends up with GWS. Bonner gets away from congestion. Inside 50. And Jack Frost can't quite take the mark. Roving effort there. Was that Peatling again? He hit it at 100 miles per hour. Got belted as he banged it through. 2 goals in quick succession, and the Giants skip back out to an 18-point lead. 14-8-92 to 12-2-74.
Yeah, no, great answer from the GWS Giants, but again, it was Bonner getting it in and getting it in that target, in that 30 metres out from goal, puts the defence under pressure. It looked like Frost did well in the marking contest, but wasn't to be, and a beautiful crumb, wasn't it? James Peatling, the Pennant Hills 18-year-old. He's got a bit of talent. He played well for the Allies last week, and he's certainly shown a clean pair of heels this quarter.
Quickly around the grounds, Canberra Demons have defeated Aspley, out of Aspley by 33 points.
Oh, big
Play on. is the call. I think both ruckmen thought it was going to be recalled. Jacob Allison has the ball. I'll get to the other game in just a moment. Inside forward 50 more. Can't quite bring it down with him. And Wooler was there and the ball over the line. And the other game talking about was a 5-1 last quarter from the Gold Coast Suns, but they fell short by 1 goal. So Sydney University run out winners 81-75.
Well, that's a surprise result. But Aspley getting done by Cambo. And here's Ben Keys bursting through the congestion and dribbling one with the left foot. That's his 3rd goal. It's back to a 2-goal ball game. 14-8-92 to the Giants, 13-2-80 the Lions. 20 minutes gone, 3rd term. This is NEFL TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV.
Well, I hate to be repetitive, but it was a long kick in and getting it in quickly. That was the key for Brisbane Lions, and forced a stoppage on that far side. Bellenden got the ball out of bounds. Beautiful roving from Ben Keys, and on his left foot from 30 dribbled one through, and that's his 3rd. And a good even performance from him. He's getting his hand on the footy. If he's kicking goals, his confidence will grow.
So 2 straight kicks the margin.
Every time the Lions seem to press forward, though, the Giants have come up with an answer. Let's see what happens now.
This one will be recalled. So Ballenden in the ruck up against Flynn. So Ballenden, he's a big young man. Flynn, he's no slouch either. Having a wrestle with Shipley, and he could be a wrestler. The handball, so they'll come away with it. Perryman quickly away, found Beaumont. Now Perryman again, under pressure, does well. Keefe just feeds it backwards and gives it off to Beaumont again. Inside forward 50. And taking the mark there was Delahunty. He just wheels around.
50.
And that is against Sam Skinner for encroaching upon the mark. And
you can't argue with that. I reckon he went 1.5 meters over the mark, mate.
Well, for me, I just wondered whether he was arcing around, and he was thinking it might have been play on, but umpire's call stands, and just kicking the easiest of goals is Liam Delahunty, and that is 2 for him. Back out to 18 points. Bob, what's your thoughts on that one?
Oh, yeah, look, definitely it was. I think Skinner predicted that the umpire was going to call play on, but he didn't, and that's the key. If he doesn't call play on, you can't go over the mark. So Delahunty certainly wheeled and went to go. So, but a late call from the ump. So
you got a whole
50-metre penalty.
It's the old play to the whistle, though, Bob.
It is, yeah. Well, he's let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's missed a bit of footy, hasn't he? So,
yeah.
But yeah, look, he predicted the umpire was going to call play on. Didn't happen. Let's see how we go with the Chook Lotto here in the middle. This has been a real problem for the centre wicket area.
Oh, as long as they don't put a big ding in it with the footy. So can you sense the sarcasm? I really don't care about this cricket pitch at all. Ball gets kicked to half forward, Daniel. Giants now again, Sproul, inside 50. Big contest coming up. Skinner just got a fist to it in front of Delahunty. And it's over the boundary line. We're going to throw in right forward pocket. 18 points to margin, 3 straight goals. So 23 minutes gone, 3rd term. Still plenty of time. If the Lions are good enough, they're sort of ebbing and flowing in this game. They're involved heavily, and then they're not. It's going in waves.
Big Flynn's got a big cut to his calf, it looks like. So he's gone off the ground, the blood rule over that far side.
I'll just keep an eye on him in there. So just proceedings being held up for the moment. Umpire's given the signal, so we'll get a throw in.
So back into play. Keefe in the ruck now. Just tries to put it to the advantage of his player. Tompkinson, a quick kick out. Hits the deck. And well done there. Coming through was Scott. So they'll maintain position here. Kennedy. Handball over the top. They're building here again. Now is Shipley. What's he going to do? He's tucked up tight on the boundary line. Tompkinson had him. Now Sloan just working out of the phone box as well. And McGraw is there. They'll be happy. In fact, there's a free kick on play, and it'll go the Lions' way. Go to the big boy, Tompkinson.
Just held without the ball there.
I kept moving with it, with the footy.
Yes, behind the play, umpire Sam Ward called it as Tompkinson goes to half-back. Off hands, Giants with the numbers again, but it's taken there for Brisbane by Stackelberg. He just propels it forward. He wants to get some territory going. Giants with players aplenty there. Comes out now, Stein. He's tackled. Umpire Ritchie says, holding the ball. Ben Keys, great tackling. Handball back, here we go. Allison chips it inside 50. Good defensive play there from Matt Bunteen. Takes it over the boundary line. In front of the scoreboard, we'll get a throw in. Scoreboard sees the Giants leading by 3 straight goals.
That's where Wooler, just a bit rusty. Probably should have gone and attacked it rather than sort of call it over the top, because it allowed Bunteen to just make that extra ground and get the fist on the ball. Did wonderfully. Back into play. Keefe playing that ruckman now. Bunteen gets a kick away. Skinner couldn't take it. And he'll win the free kick as he was dragged down afterwards without the ball. The infringer there was Delahunty. Skinner puts it as Keefe. I thought he was going to swallow it, and the umpire says, yep, you didn't quite swallow it, but you swallowed it just far enough, just down the gullet, halfway. So he win the free kick.
They had half of, actually 2/3 of their side inside defensive 50. The Giants clogging things up. It gets brought back out. Nice juggling effort there from Delahunty. Takes the mark. Got a couple of goals to his name, and he bites off a big kick, and that's a ripping effort. Pollock takes the mark. It opens the play up. Buckley, ambition, takes on Cedric Cox, who's got pace to burn. Just affected the tackle enough for Dylan Buckley to be adjudged to have thrown the ball. Lyons with the free kick. Corey Lyons to Marengo. Up towards Ballenden territory, up against the experience of Moore. Moore wins out. Great stuff defensively. The Giants will be coming out here through Delahunty. He's confronted, gives it off to McGrory by hand. Well done to Liam Dawson, who read it, took it over the boundary line. McGrory gets buffeted over the boundary line by Sam Skinner just for a few giggles. We'll get a throw in.
Just cause?
Because he was there.
If I was Mitch Hahn, I'd be getting the runner out and having a real stern word to number 38, Connor Ballenden. 2 or 3 times in a row. No second effort. Had to go in the marking contest and didn't want to know anything about after that.
So Keefe just puts in the path of Daniels. Couldn't quite take it with him, no. Just flung off it there was Perryman. And a scrimmage ensues, and Johnson and also Sloan are in there. Young boy Tompkinson up against the experience of Keefe. Keys lays the tackle, but the ball goes the Giants' way. Daniels spins out of 1, gets away from 2, flicks the ball back out, does well. Beaumont feeds it off to McGrory. That was very nicely done. The kick didn't find its target, though. They were looking for Sproul. Dawson. Allison just hits it on. He's got to give it up quick. And Barrett couldn't handle it. Shipley comes through. He's tackled by Keys. And I would think that was probably holding the ball, but not to be. Deemed not to have prior opportunity.
It's a grey area, isn't it? The whole prior opportunity thing. It's difficult to judge at some stages. Bonner out of congestion. Has a ping at him. Misses to the left. One behind. Clay Beams is laying down the law. It looked like there to Jack Frost, saying what is going on in the stoppages there. 99 plays 80, 19 points the margin. The Giants lead it. We played 28 minutes, the third term.
Ball brought back in. Ben Keys looking for a target. Gives it to Dawson. 2 Queenslanders combined to absolutely butcher it. Adam Kennedy took the mark off the terrible kick, just heaves it back in, and luckily for the Lions, it was across the face. That was poor.
Well, that sums it up, Kanga, when they're doing this little chipping stuff out of defence and trying to give their mate an uncontested possession. They bugger it up 9 times out of 10. So let's get it out of there, get it in long, give them a chance.
So Keys, that's a better one. Finds Starcevic. We haven't seen much of him this afternoon. He had 3 possessions to half time. And not many more, one would think. Kicks it up to the wing. Keefe is there and Cummins there. They spoil each other. Bonner just steals it. Daniel, half forward, gives it back to Bonner, approaching 50, lobs it up. They've got numbers here. Sproul on his own, runs in, open goal, no problem. Giants, they kick away. 26 points now the margin.
How good was that from Aidan Bonner? There's a bloke, you can tell why he was drafted at number 11 in last year's draft. Have a look at him running around in the Neefle and just dominating that stoppage, getting it from the wing, getting the 1-2 handball, and then putting it down Sproul's throat, Bob. That's quality stuff.
Well, yeah, it's a complete opposite when the Lions get hold of the footy at the minute, isn't it? They want to do the little chip 13, 15-metre little pass to no one. So, yeah, look, Aidan Bonner, quality player. Dandenong Stingrays had a knee problem at 17, missed a whole season of footy and come back as an 18 and dominated Stingrays at a big country level. So a real prospect.
The Giants, a handy 26-point lead late in the third term, and it could be extended here. Here's Sproul again. It's a floating wobbler. Cedric Cox reads it nicely off hands. Just had enough pressure on him to disturb that ball. So it's 107, plays 80. 16-11, 107 to 13-2, 80. So it's back to, or out to now, 27 points as the Lions bring it in.
Hinge goes short, finds Corey Lyons. Lyons, that's a dangerous kick. Barrett was the target, gives the handball across. Marengo couldn't take it. Cox is there, but beaten to it by Daniels. Daniels quickly off to Stein. Stein to Shipley. Now they're reloading again. They've got on forward 50. Perryman forced to go on the left. One-on-one contest over the top of Sproul's head. Skinner just belts it in the air. I don't think with any great thought other than let's get it out of here. Dawson ends up with it, and luckily it comes out, finds Wooler, has Ballenden further up the field, decides not to go to him.
Well, he just holds it up, but I'd still be kicking it to Ballenden. He had a big mismatch there as far as height and weight goes, but kicked into the man on the mark there from Wooler. Hinge rows it back to Marengo by hand. That's a little wobbler, but at least it's in the path of Jake Barrett. He was taken a little high in a clumsy effort there by Nick Shipley. So Barrett gets the free kick, puts it into the corridor. Keys now. Got 3 goals to his name. He handballs it forward, finds Billy Johnson. Kicks towards left half forward. Nice mark there. Taken by Clay Beams. He's got Keys short. He's got a couple of runners in. He's also got this one covered for distance, methinks, if he has a ping at him. Looks like that's what he might be doing. 32 minutes gone of the third term, so he knows it's late in the quarter. He's already kicked 2. A couple of efforts there were, you'd file under leadership 101. Let's see what he can do here with this one. From right on 50. Looks good. Umpire doesn't move. Clay Beams trying to lead from the front for the Brisbane Lions. Kicks his third and gives them a bit of a sniff back into it. 21 points the margin late in the third quarter. 107 plays 86.
Yeah, no, great finish, wasn't it, from Clay Beams. It's been the way he's attacked the footy today. I've liked his game. He's been probably he and Cedric Cox have been their most consistent players over the 3 quarters. A lot of their other senior listed players have either been in and out of the game and showed glimpses or haven't been anywhere near it. So they need a lift overall. They're not out of this contest, but they're just clawing, hanging on for dear grim life.
Flynn went early. Smith stayed down. Barrett now to Beams, the goal kicker. Can they get another one before 3/4 time? Forward there's Allison. Wraps up with a good tackle. What's the umpire going to call here? He calls, I'll have a ball up. So the man underneath all that was Stein, Stackelberg, and also Bud. I don't think they become buds. And Stackelberg, he's a feisty type. Certainly if his father and his uncle are any...
about to say.
Know them.
Bit of Sandgate royalty there.
So the Giants, they clear it. Skinner goes to ground. Hinge just gets it away before he fell over and gave it to Dawson, and Dawson's kick was smothered out of bounds. It goes right on this centre wing.
Nick Shipley again, just doing the basic 1%ers, Bob. Just getting the hands on the ball there for Liam Dawson and taking the ball across the boundary line.
Yeah, Shipley and Bonner have been standouts, haven't they, for GWS, and they've been tireless. They haven't looked as though they've even come off the field at any stage.
Archie Smith double hands it forward towards Barrett's cut off by Daniels, gives it back to Perryman, lobs it. Skinner almost got Banuelos out of the way. Ball hits the deck. Here comes Lockie Keefe, and there goes the siren. Another high-scoring quarter. This reads like a final score. 16-11, 107 to the Giants. To the Lions, 14-2, 86. It's 21 points the margin. The Lions won that quarter by a point. The Giants led by 22 at halftime. They led by 6 at quarter time. We'll be back very shortly with the final quarter here at the Gabba for NEAFL Round 12 on NEAFL TV through our broadcast partner, Bar TV. Welcome back to NEFL TV, round 12. Brisbane Lions at home to the GWS Giants at the Gabba. We're streaming live on NEFL TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV. Michael Price, Mark Kennedy calling all of your action, and Bob Batty, the encyclopedia of Queensland football, is our special commentator today. At three-quarter time, the Giants 16-11, 107 to the Lions 14-86. They lead by 21 after leading by 22 at half-time, and here's Mark Kennedy.
Here's one of those men responsible for the lead. That's Bonner. Gets it out of the middle for the Giants. Goes up towards Buckley. Frost is there. It beats him as well. Good handball. Just comes back to Buckley from Banuelos. Did I say that right that time? But it was out of bounds. Banuelos. Just think he's a Mexican wrestler, like Andrew Boston.
Oh,
I just can't think of anything but Mexican wrestling. Andrew Boston. Of course, Southport having the bye there. It's the Southport captain, Andrew Boston. With the ball thrown back in. Right on forward 50 for the Giants. They attack Flynn and Smith. It's been not a bad contest, that one. Probably even Stevens for mine. And ball tied up under plenty.
They obviously identified Shipley at the stoppages there. He was being closely marked there by Jacob Allison. So we'll get a ball up. Big hit from Flynn was taken by Billy Johnson, who's tackled immediately. Let's lose the ball towards his teammate in Stackelberg. Big fist from Bunteen. And he kicks it inside 50. Big punch from Delahunty gets it towards the boundary line. And Perryman and Keys take it over in front of the scoreboard. And we'll get another throw in. Lions want to get a wriggle on too. High scoring affair. 27 scoring shots to 16. Yet the Lions in it because of their accuracy. They've kicked 14 goals too.
Yeah, when they get it in forward and get it in quickly, they're a chance. But they've been messing around too much.
Shipley just got it to Perryman, and Perryman slots one home. And that is 4 for Perryman. I mean, very good this afternoon. But what about Nick Shipley there? Bob, he did all the grunt work.
Oh, yeah, no doubt at all. Like he's certainly up there in the leading contender for best player on the ground, in my opinion. Perryman's obviously been up there as well. A little bit quieter in the third quarter, like the game of Lockie Keefe, and yeah, Bonner is the other one. Like they just can't match it in that midfield, can they? Flynn and Smith seem to be negating each other in the hand on the footy, but it's their midfield that's getting right on top.
Yeah, Perryman, 28 disposals and 4 goals. I reckon he's a fair contender for BOG, Bob.
Definitely.
He's done well. Back into the middle. Flynn versus Smith. Flynn does well, but ends up with Keys, who shunts a speculating handball forward. It was Starcevic. Nice smother there from Kennedy. Still at right half forward for Brisbane. Picked up and dumped into the ground. Ball now comes out to McGrory. Handball over the top to Bonner, who's just growing in influence with this game. Gets the ball back on a 1-2. Great running. That is the second time he's done that with Sproul on the end of it. And Sproul's the benefactor again. 3 goals and the run of Aidan Bonner. Blitzing the Brisbane Lions in the middle of the Gabba. The Giants 18-11, 119 to the Lions 14-86. 3 minutes 20 gone, final term, and they're splitting this game apart.
Definitely so. I'll let you comment first, Kanga.
Well, split, or what's the past tense?
Smashing.
Splat.
It's splattered.
They've splat them apart. That's fair to say, isn't it, Bob? The run and carry from that back half of the ground was evident. The work rate, they just looked like they were all over the lines on that occasion.
Well, I'll give you the work rate there. Bonner was on Starcevic. Starcevic had the chance, toe poked it forward, went to ground, did not get up and chase, whereas Bonner was off to the races, grabbed the footy, goal Sproul.
Flynn to Sproul. Big body. Couple of big bodies in the middle of the ground for the Giants. And you add Shipley in there and also Perryman. I'll tell you what, there's some grunt and muscle in there. Shipley got it from the tap. Cedric Cox just backed and I think was expecting some contact and could have rightly so have done. And that's a terrible conveyance. Lockie Keefe took the ball, just says, thank you very much. And that's 2 for Lockie Keefe. A terrible error there by Cedric Cox, who generally is a very good user of the ball, and the wheels have fallen off.
Poor. I think all of the nuts have been stripped as well. If you've got a spanner that fits, it's just not working. The Brisbane Lions, 3 goals in the space of 4.5 minutes when the game was on the line, and GWS had just smashed them apart. How about the confidence of the big man, Lockie Keefe, just coming in? He had a bloke over the top. Nah, I'll just drill it from 40. Beautiful stuff, Bob Batty.
Yeah, great finish. And as you said, Cedric Cox been one of the best users of the footy, definitely in the back half of the Lions. And on that occasion, Lockie Keefe read it beautifully and finished delightfully.
So we're back into the middle. Again towards the Giants' goals it goes. Enter Shipley, gets the handball off, and it's a long kick from Sproul. He's having a ping at him from long range now, getting back and chipping in defensively is Connor Ballenden. He just chips it 15 metres forward, finds Hinge. Hinge has got Allison out wide. He and Keefe. They might be similar in athleticism. I think I'd give the points to Keefe today just, though Allison has a goal to his name. Just stagnant at the moment, aren't they? There's not a lot of movement, chipping it down the line, playing into the hands of the Giants at the minute. Allison back in board. That's a little bit more adventurous. Ballenden across the centre half back and hits Cedric Cox. Now he puts on the skates, has a bounce. Probably needs another one really quickly. He just ran his full 15, kicks it inside 50. Running back and forth, Dawson, chipping pass inboard and finds Clay Beams. That's better football, but it needed that 45 kick to hit Cedric Cox to take the game on and run it down the corridor.
Yeah, definitely did. Yeah, they've kicked the ball into the forward line a bit spasmodically all day, but this player certainly been one of the players that's kept the Lions within striking distance, but it's getting further and further away from them. They definitely need this to have any semblance.
24 disposals today for Clay Beams. 3 goals already. Leans back. Makes no mistake. Gets his 4th. Quality effort from Clay Beams. Brings it back to 33 points it is now. 125 to 92. 19 goals 11 to 15 goals 2. It's a bit of a score fest, Kanga.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Since quarter time, I mean, in that first quarter, we had 5 goals in the first quarter, which is not horrible, but then we had 14, 11, and then we've had 4 in the best part of 7 minutes. So it's been open, free-flowing, and some of it's been caused, obviously, by some errors, which have helped the situation. But I don't mind seeing some high-scoring games, but a little bit of physicality that comes with it as they crunch them. So Smith didn't get it down. Lyons is there. Shipley just stands and then delivers a little kick forward. Hinge just tapping it in front of himself. Bonner emerges with the ball, gives it backwards to Keefe. Keefe, he'll go on his left, I think he does. Goes long, looking for the tall timber. Ballenden, he's back there playing a taller role in defence now. He just coughed it up. Oh. Smith, he's tackled, and holding the ball is the call. Advantage is paid, and the goal is on the board. Brett Daniels. So anything you can do, we can do better, is the moral of the story today with the Giants, because any time the Lions have challenged, the Giants have steadied, Bob.
Yeah, no, that was terrible was the word I'd use for Ballenden.
He hasn't had his best day, Bob, has he?
Well, yeah, you don't drop marks like that. He's a listed player. Didn't go early in the draft. It certainly was a player that was going to be drafted all last year, and you just don't drop those marks. Like, it was in his fingertips. He's 200 centimetres. He's got the front spot. Just clunk it, and then put Archie Smith under the pump, and Daniels got the lollies and kicked a beautiful goal.
And becomes the 8th multiple goal scorer for the Giants. Doing it on the bit at the moment. They've hit 20 goals after 9 minutes of the final term. Jacob Allison, long inside 50. Big fly. That was from Bud, brought the ball down to ground. Tackling Stein into the ground too was Liam Dawson. We'll get a ball up 30 metres out directly in front of the Brisbane Lions goal. Tompkinson versus Keefe. Tompkinson does okay, but the ball stuck underneath several, and we'll do it all again from a very similar spot. Again, it was a lovely day here at the Gabba. 9.5 gone, final term. Through our broadcast partner, Bar TV, this is Neefle TV with Michael Price and Mark Kennedy calling your action.
So Keefe and Tompkinson. Tompkinson outworks Keefe on that occasion, but the ball hit the ground and goes nowhere.
3 stoppages in the space of a metre. Giants won't mind this at all.
No, well, they've been good around the clinches, haven't they? The bigger bodies. And that one shows up there in Keefe. Unable to take the ball. It was Lyons. And the kick was a little bit errant there and just squeezes through for a behind. So narrows the margin to 38. But the heat might come out of the contest here as the Giants bring it back in and go to the outer side. And standing tall, doing very well. Well done there by Keneally. Well done to the little fella.
Almost got squashed underneath that pack.
He did, and he chips it out wide and finds Barrett. He's on the correct side for a left footer. Distance was the issue, so he just lays it up. The fly came from Allison. Couldn't take it with him, though. And that was Sloan, Beams, Lyons, and the mullet of Dawson goes for goal and slips it in. And Liam Dawson, it's one for the Lions. But too little, too late. Narrows the margin to 32 points. And we have played some 11 minutes of this last quarter.
36 goals between them.
Yeah, moved him forward, Liam Dawson. The first time I've seen him playing forward for many a day. He did start his junior career as a marking forward through the Northern Raiders program and Redcliffe Junior. But that was a beautiful left foot snap. And, look at three contests in a row there, Tompkinson and Keefe. Tompkinson got his hand on it, and each time he was the one doing the tackling. Where are those midfielders and crummers for the Lions?
Not giving the big fellas the support at ground level. Archie Smith slaps it down. Bonner, again, imposing himself. Just lost his footing on the precious Gabba wicket. Needs watering. Get it back now to Flynn. Flynn to Shipley. Shipley. Handball into Scott. Put him under an awful amount of pressure. Ball stuck underneath him, and we'll get a ball up. So it's 32 points to the margin. We'll play 12 minutes of the final term. Not impossible, improbable, but not impossible for the Brisbane Lions. Cedric Cox overruns the ball. Daniels puts himself in for GWS. Ballenden picks it up and just hoiks it towards the outer wing. Foot race on here, and it's won there by Sloan. Wheels around, chips it inboard, looking for Wooler. Gets down to ground level. Nice hands around his ankles. Got tackled as soon as he picked it up, though. Umpire Ward hugs himself and says, we'll ball it up. 70 metres from goal, right half forward for the Lions.
Well, they're both sides coming off the bye, aren't they? So there's no excuse for not being able to get a little bit of extra work in the legs, but get that little bit of rest from the match simulation side of things. Scott takes it away for the Giants. It overruns everybody. Marengo, Allison. His handball is straight to Daniels. Daniels just chips it inboard inside forward 50 and finds Delahunty. And he can line up for number 3.
I don't like being critical of senior players, Kanga, but Jacob Allison, I reckon that's the 4th time in the second half that he's won the ball, and every time he's tackled, he tries a handball that goes nowhere and turns the ball over instead of laying the boot into it and kicking it 40 metres.
So Delahunty, 45-degree angle. It looks on target, and that is 2 for him. In fact, it's 3 for him. And that just adds a little bit more salt into the wounds as they push the margin back out to 38 points.
Yeah, he's a real goal kicker, isn't he? He doesn't miss many when he gets the opportunity. Liam Delahunty, I said at the 16s last year he was a goal-kicking machine and won the medal and the National Division 2 Championships under 16. So no surprise he's doing well here. He looks the player of the future. Plenty of promise there for the academy player from the Giants.
Clearances. This is where the difference has really been made around these stoppages. 45 to 32 as the bigger bodies have really taken control, particularly since half-time.
And 53 to 34 as far as the inside 50s go. Equating on the scoreboard now as Aidan Bonner extracts it yet again. Kicks it inside 50 and a clunk. The hands. Well done to Tom Banuelos. He's our new Mexican wrestler here for the Giants. That was just a good set of hands from the AFL Sydney product, the mature ager.
Well, for me, there was probably no pressure, no defensive pressure there that actually, and good luck to Ben Wellos. He did, and he presented and took what he should have under the circumstances. There was no defensive pressure from Brisbane.
Almost hit his shin with his shot at goal last time. This one, as straight as an arrow for Ben Wellos. The Giants marching ahead. 22 goals, 11, 143. The Lions 16, 399. 44 points the margin. 15 minutes gone, final term. It's turning into a rout.
Certainly is, and the Lions' next 3 games are against. I'll quote these. I'm not sure of the order, but it's Swans, second on the ladder, Sharks first on the ladder, Sydney Uni third on the ladder.
That's 3.
They've lost 3 in a row already. This could be, well, will be 4, you'd think. And it could be 7 in a row if they don't win any of those 3. So the wheels are falling off quickly here at NEFL level for the Brisbane Lions, and Mitch Hahn and his coaching staff plenty of work to do.
Flynn, on the second bite of the cherry, hits it forward. Just tapping it forward again was Bonner, but Keys is there. Lyons is there as well. But Bonner just another effort, just gets it going his way yet again. Beautifully picked up there by Peatling. He just kicked the up and under, unfortunately. That's on tomorrow night. And the ball just ricochets off hands as players came from everywhere to try and get involved in that marking contest and spilled over the line.
They're just looking to fill their boots now, aren't they? They don't want to slow down. They just want to make this scoreboard hurt as much as possible, the Giants. Throw in. Smith taps it down. Jack Frost does well. Tackled. Ball spills. Again, a mess of bodies everywhere. Bonner sticks his hands in trying to pull the ball out. Nothing doing.
Well, in a lot of ways, around the stoppages, they've been manhandled, haven't they? They've been manhandled around these contested situations as Smith gets it going his way, Barrett and also Kennedy. And Kennedy hasn't exactly had a breakout game trying to get back in the seniors, but been serviceable nonetheless. And here he is. Speak of the devil. A little short kick inside and finds Buckley.
Not too shabby for being serviceable, drilling it down somebody's throat inside 50. I know it's getting junkish time, but they just... I suppose I still think the scoreboard really flatters the Lions. They've kicked 16 goals, but it's 16-3. There's 33 scoring shots to 19 at the minute.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the way it's going now. It's going to end up being a real trouncing, and Buckley lays back on it and misses, unfortunately. For him, he's had a chance to kick 4 today and missed 2 simple ones. The thing that really stands out to me is those 3 midfielders, Bonner, you mentioned Shipley and Perryman. Those 3 haven't had much of a chop out from other GWS players in the midfield, but they've absolutely dominated, whereas the Lions have had 6 or 7 through that midfield and just keep losing out.
As Buckley gets another ping at it, that's 2 goals, 3 for Dylan Buckley as we're entering a little bit of junk time. You mentioned, like Perryman's got 29 touches, Shipley 26, and Bonner 24. And between them, well, they've got a handful of goals as well. Well, Perryman's got 4 and Bonner's got 1. So nearly 100 possessions plus 6 goals. Not too shabby from 3 players as the ball goes over the boundary line in front of Delahunty, who's got 3 himself.
Well, that's 2 kicks in a row defensively that they've turned the ball over, and Buckley should have, swallowed both of them at the end of the day, and that kick out from Frost was pretty poor as well.
It's pretty average. Archie Smith couldn't quite control it there. You see some tired bodies going in now. Ben Keys, he's battled manfully all day, turned the ball over a bit, but had a red-hot crack, and he does so again there. Forces the ball over the boundary line in front of the Giants bench, and we'll get another throw in. Umpire Ritchie coming in. So 35 scoring shots to 19. That's reasonably comprehensive. About 20 plus in the inside 50s as well.
Yeah, Michael, I know Bastanak went off at half time. There's probably a bit of a reserve and a bit of insurance, but Keys and Beams and Cox, after that, they've really dropped away.
Jake Barrett has another go at it, runs to 50, drills it in, and Liam Dawson, the unlikely forward, takes another mark and can shoot for his second goal from more or less point-blank range.
As I mentioned, he is as a junior a goal kicker. Redcliffe and Aspley. Obviously played in the premiership side with Aspley under Johnny Blair.
At 2014.
Yep, when they got drafted.
And he comes in and kicks his second for the Lions. Called that game with Kanga, and he did have a serviceable game in that grand final. It probably helped him get drafted as well later on as it worked out. But, yeah, there's a bit of junk time here for the Brisbane Lions. Bastanak going off is a factor, but as you say, those other players with senior experience should have been stepping up to fill that breach.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And some of these players have been on the list now for multiple years. Keys, Bastanak, Beams, just run down the list there. Dawson,
Paparone,
and
Allison.
Paparone and Barrett and these types. And you look at the youthful enthusiasm of Bonner and Daniels and these guys, ably supported by Flynn and Keefe and the like, and it's been a stark contrast, hasn't it?
My score sheet's full. I have to go to 2 pages.
So the free kick was one in the middle, and it goes the way of Wooler. Wooler just gets it inside forward 50. That was a push on the contest from Archie Smith. Again, I think Archie's tried hard, but he hasn't any great influence, and neither's Flynn has been serviceable as well without having any great influence on the contest.
I think they both have battled on manfully. It's just been the battle of the midfielders.
Well, they've cancelled each other out more than anything else, I think, today. So they go to the outer side. That's Bud. Goes wider. Had Cumming there. And Cumming just goes down the line, finds McGrory. So still at half back, has a little chipping ball. Cumming runs hard, gets on the end of it. Looking into the sun. And he just lobs it in. Looking for a big target. Frost was there. He'll get it at ground level and just puts the hip into the head of his opponent just for good measure. Ripped off it was Smith. Or in fact it was Scott, I should say. But the ball was stuck under and we'll have a free kick going the Giants' way. Bud loads it up. Inside forward 50, unable to take it. There was Flynn. Brisbane, they can repel. Keys brings it to the outer side, and you'd think the run of Ballenden would. He's got nobody forward though, so not sure where to go. So he decides to go backwards, and Beams he can give it off to Barrett.
Barrett back to Beams. He'll give it to Ballenden. Ballenden, the big fella, can lope forward. He's got a man open on the left in Dawson, ignores him, and wastes the pill, going for a long shot at goal. Very ordinary decision on a bad day for Connor Ballenden. They clear the ball, do the Giants, and they do it too easily as well. Shipley, handball over the top, finds young Daniels, chips it back in board, and Flynn. You don't want to be condemning the young man, but that was just a wasteful, dumb football decision.
Yeah, look, I just don't like the body language of the Brisbane Lion players at the moment.
It stinks at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, they're just looking at each other and, quickly turn this into a schmozzle, I think. And Mitch Hahn will be absolutely filthy, I'm sure, of this last quarter and a half. The first 5 minutes, third quarter, different team. But from there on, no good.
So Beams was chasing up the ball there, got barreled as he kicked it long. Jacob Allison goes left, then goes right. And it's a wobbler to the goal square, and once again it's Wooler taking the mark. He's already got 1 goal on his debut for the Brisbane Lions after 3 months off with a broken finger, and that was taking a mark off a dead-set finger-breaking wobbling kick from Connor Ballenden as well. So he's looking for his second.
Well, at times he's presented, hasn't he? First game in Lions colours. You're certainly not going to take too much away from what's happened going the other way for the Giants. But there's a couple of signs there. At least he presents.
He comes in from point-blank range, knocks it over the goal umpire's head for another goal. So 145 plays 111, 34 points the margin in favour of the Giants. We played 24 minutes of the last quarter.
Yeah, look, he'll benefit from the hit out, won't he? He's probably played just over 2 quarters. Just keep pumping the footy into him, I suppose. He can mark it overhead. I mentioned Allison with regard to 3 or 4 times he's tried to take blokes on and then do that over-the-top handball that's caused problems. Well, there's a situation where he's kicked at 60 metres And there's a difference, a goal to the Brisbane Lions.
When you've got a weapon like that, a 60-metre kick in your arsenal, surely you've been instructed to use it, wouldn't you?
You'd think so.
No.
You work to your strengths.
Oh.
Well, going very high was Flynn over the top of Archie Smith, and a free kick will go the way of the Giants, so it'll come back and go towards Scott. So Anthony Scott, he's been actually a good contributor for the Giants today. He loads up on his left. Flynn's pushed forward, and Marengo, he just got a big fist in there. Sproul tries to turn out of a couple and did so, gets the kick away, and then it just doesn't come back
Hit the post.
far enough. I'll tell you what, that would have been a great goal and some ordinary tackling from Brisbane.
He parted the seas there. There was 5 Brisbane Lion defenders there, and not one laid a finger on him.
As Dackelberg now chips it forward, finds Tawera Marengo. He's got a chip past 20 metres forward and finds Jake Barrett. He's still got the runner in Keys. So they're still having a crack, the Lions. Keys off to the silk of Cedric Cox. Gets around 1. Will have a crack at getting around 2. Handball to Keys. Now loops it to Lions. Back to Barrett. Back to Lions. Under some pressure. Back to Cox. They finally make it to the 50-metre arc. Barrett. Now it's Stackelberg chipping it forward, and after about 18 handballs in the space of 20 metres, the kick went straight down the guts of Matt Bunteen, and the Giants will get out of it. Nice kick from Riley Budd. Big mark, big fly from Peatling, who's just got better as the game warms up. Perryman, back to the run of Kennedy. Kennedy, long kick inside 50, but Jack Frost read it well, takes the mark for the Brisbane Lions.
I'll tell you who they're missing, the Lions, and I think they'll get him back probably next week, Matt Eagles, because I just reckon they're youthful, not the youthful, it's certainly not youthful, but the enthusiasm. He's the one for the passion with the contest who tends to fire them up a bit. And it probably coincided with him ascending to AFL level that the Lions have actually dropped away at NEFL level.
And that concludes proceedings here at the Gabba for round 12. The Giants, 22-14, 146 against the Brisbane Lions, 18-3, 111. The Giants by 35 points. They led by 21 at three-quarter time, 22 at half-time. They led by 6 at quarter time. But all in all, I think the scoreboard would flatter the Brisbane Lions because that's a comprehensive 36 scoring shots to 21 in the end, Bob. And it's the nature of those scoring shots, I think, that what we were more worried about from Brisbane's perspective, just not showing up at some stages where it was required.
Yeah, certainly so, Michael, and congratulations go to Adam Schneider's team. That's 4 wins on the trot now. They've started the year poorly, and now they're really got the bit between the teeth. And it's been the youngsters that are really, I suppose, pushing them up the ladder. Some fantastic efforts from their on-ballers. We mentioned them. Bonner, Shipley and Perryman have been the standouts. But look, Zach Sproul was very good. Lachlan Keefe was very good. The big fella Matthew Flynn played very well. And then you had Adam Kennedy and Matt Bunteen in defence. So, look, they were solid all over the ground. They had contributors all over the ground, whereas the Brisbane Lions relied on 1 or 2 at the most to really get them back into the game, and that was nowhere near enough.
10 goal scorers for the Giants. Harry Perryman got 4. Sproul got 3. Daniels, Keefe, Buckley, Beaumont and Peatling got 2. Delahunty got 3 as well. And a single to Aidan Bonner. When it came to the Brisbane Lions, Keys and Beams got 3 each. Toby Wooler ended up with 2 in his first game in Lions colours. Bastanak, Allison, Paparone, Dawson, Lyons, Tompkinson, Keneally and Sloan, all singles. 11 separate goal scorers for Brisbane. But as we said, Bastanak, and did Paparone disappear in the second half of the game as well? Because, quite frankly, he was that quiet in the first half, I wasn't sure.
Well, it's just 17 disposals for Marco Paparone. And Clay Beams, 31 for the Lions. So he certainly tried hard to go with his 4 goals. Keys had 30, Barrett 28, and Allison, Cox and Lyons had 24 apiece. And Perryman for the Giants, 32 he had. Shipley had 27 excellent, including 8 clearances. Bonner, he had 24, but 12 clearances, if you don't mind, for the day. 6 inside 50s to go with it. Adam Kennedy, as I said, was very solid, is probably a way to put it. 23. Keith, excellent. He had 22. And just some other key stats, team stats. Inside 50s, plus 19, the Giants, 58 to 39, and plus 12. Plus 12 in the clearances, 48 to 36. So comprehensive it was, Bob.
Yeah, no, good effort from GWS. And as I mentioned, the Lions have got Swans, Sharks and Sydney Uni.
Good luck.
Next 3 games. They're really under the pump now. Mitch Hahn's got some work to do. Some positives, though. Sam Skinner and Toby Wooler got through their game, so that's going to be a bonus for them. They'll get better. They're obviously going to get a lot more from their senior players, apart from Clay Beams, who, to me, was a standout player for them today. But well done to Adam Schneider and the Giants. A big win, and, I think they're going to be pretty good between now and the end of the year.
Yep, they're improving at the right time of the year. GWS Giants by plenty over the Brisbane Lions. Thanks very much to Mark Kennedy and Bob Batty, and we'll look forward to bringing you more from NEFL TV next week. And this is Michael Price saying, see you next time on NEFL TV through Bar TV.